freaking out, man. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men with power want? More power.
My name is luca-zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a dream. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom. Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on United States to the FM network. I always forget. There is also a new station, the sister station, 104.1 FM. I guess I got it right. Anyway, bottom line, I'm back. I'm here. Sunday, another show. You know, when I started the show was about freedom. It is about freedom. First of all, it's freedom of speech. You are welcome here to talk about anything you want. Always, of course, in the topics that normally I touch, okay? If you want to talk about Kardashian or football, wrong station, at least wrong show. But anything else, when it comes down to individual freedoms, rights, this republic, gun rights, love, of course, you're more than welcome. Now, the beautiful thing about here, that nobody's going to shut you down. Even if I agree or not, doesn't matter, okay? This is the idea, it's the forum. But when sometimes, you know, we talk about something very specific, very emotional, okay? We've been here duped for 8 years. We've been destroyed by a beast called Obama. And Obama wasn't alone. Don't get me wrong, you know. I mean, that's why I burned my Republican Party card a few years ago, because unfortunately the Republicans, they're in bed with these Democrats doing orgies while we're all getting screwed here. No, they do all this wrestling match show. They think they're conservative and they are Democrats, liberal. They're all the same. You see any difference between a McCain and a Schumer? No. They all work for the same corporations. Bottom line is the establishment. Bottom line, they're working for global government. And Bush was following the agenda of the one before, and of course, Obama increased the agenda. And now finally we thought, hey, we have a break. We have a regular guy. Not really regular. This guy, you know, is a billionaire. But the point is, for a moment, we thought that we had a chance. You know, for me, it wasn't even about that. Because, you know, I always question Trump. I played on the air. I was probably one of the first ones to play the video that was very well compiled about all the different positions that he had during the years, about gun controls, about abortion, things like that, immigration. But still, you know, I could not allow to have a devil like Hillary Clinton, that for me she should be facing a trial, start with that, to become the next president. Because it's like almost, you know, a survival mode. You know that you have a bleeding artery, and what you're going to put? You're going to put you need to stop the bleeding. And now all I have is probably some crap. I don't care. Yes, I'm going to get an infection, but at least I need to stop this bleeding. And that's what was after 8 years of Obama and facing 4 more years of Hillary. So Trump, it was really genuinely the only little hope we had. And I said, you know, we got to give him a chance because we have no other chances. But I never was naive. That's for sure. And I always like when people out there, you know, like the guest I'm going to bring you now, we are always here not following the man, but we follow the ideals. We don't worship anybody. This is supposed to be a republic, not a kingdom. Or when, you know, the theocracy, like the Pope, we're supposed to bow down. No matter what he says, we're supposed to say, yes, Lord. Screw you. That's my attitude. Screw every man, every woman who does not respect the supreme law of the land that is called the United States Constitution and Bill of Rights. Let's start with that. And I don't care if you like me or not. I'm not here to have friends. I don't get on this show to become popular. I could not care less. The only reason why I'm here, because I think I have the moral obligation as an American, as a human being, and also as a new American who took an oath to say what I really think is true, at least according to the facts that I have. And for me, the important thing is when I see a danger to our republic and to our constitution, I must scream, and I must tell you what I think. This is my job. But more important, I have today a guest that I respect a lot. I met her years ago when she was probably one of the pioneers, at least here in Arizona, in the fight against illegal immigration. And she's a veteran. And she's somebody that I like very much because she does not shut up, especially when she knows that she's saying the truth. And it's so easy, at the beginning, you try to say, warn your fellow Americans, they all throw rocks at you. Because you think, after all, you're disturbing their illusion. At the end of the day, you do what you have to do. Her name is Michelle-Dallacroce from Phoenix. Michelle, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi, Luca.
All right, my friend. Thank you very much for coming back. You've already been on my show several times. At least we talk about several things. Today, the topic is about President Trump. I know that you support him, you help him out, you really put a lot of effort during the election, and you're always there, try to do your best in your community. And I see the last, probably, few weeks maybe, different Facebook posts from you. You are trying to warn, our fellow Americans, I don't care if they're Republicans, independents, or whatever, that we are not exactly getting what was promised. Can you please articulate exactly what's going on with President Trump according to your brain?
Well, it's very obvious that I'm very thrilled to be on your show because this is one of the best radio shows because you tell the truth. So I want to thank you for having me on your show again.
Thank you.
And you're a great host, and you're a great friend, so thank you very much. So getting onto the topic of your show today for Donald Trump, a lot of people are waking up because they're questioning Donald Trump's comments that he made early on when it came to immigration issues. And that's my forte, as like you said, you've known me for over a decade, dealing with fighting in the streets of illegal immigration issues from Phoenix to the East Coast, the West Coast, North and South, and to the border. And we know Donald Trump, he used an issue that we all fought for, and it was not his as he says, it's a movement. He claims a movement. And I personally, and I know there are others like me who have been leaders in the movement that he calls basically his movement that he created. And it's not his movement. And I'm taking claim back for the people because it's our movement. And it was a movement that many of us over 10 years ago, and even before I got into it, people like Terry Anderson, which I know you remember. He had his great radio show before he passed away, and other people basically in California who were the real pioneers because California was hit first, obviously, because Arizona and New Mexico and Canada with immigration issues. For over the last 25 to 50 years, it was hitting those states, but because there was no mass communication with the internet or Facebook or iPhones where you had video or face news travels so quickly now that more people within the last 10 years were able to communicate the dangers and the atrocities and the deaths that were occurring because of illegal immigration, that prior to that, most people, say on the East Coast or North Dakota, they didn't know. They didn't know what was really going on. And I remember going to the border one time to Cochise County when I first started the group that I started, which was Mothers Against Illegal Aliens, which I am the president and founder of. We started in a rally in Cochise County, and one of the residents there had told me, she goes, you know what comes through us actually is what the people in North Dakota and the rest of the country should fear, but they don't even care because even though it's coming through the border and it's affecting those communities terribly, those people go through such atrocities and property damage and all sorts of stuff, but they do say, it tramples through the Southwest. But everything that's coming through Cochise County, coming through Pinal County, Maricopa County, up through Phoenix, it's disseminated throughout the whole United States. And when people think, we only have a few borders we don't have a few borders. We have 50 borders because each state is a border state. People don't realize that. And these issues that Donald Trump was talking about, he claimed as though they were his own and he was bringing light to them when in actuality, people like me and you and many others that we know that I'm sure that have been on your show, we've worked our asses off. We've put our heart and soul, our money, our blood, sweat, and tears, our time. We have devoted so much time. This has not been a pastime, and this hasn't been something that we just did for the fun of it. We did it because we were devoted to it as patriots of the United States of America, and many people voted for Donald Trump because he took an issue that we were fighting, and we felt that we were going to give him a chance. Like you said, we were going to give the man a chance. Although, let me just clarify something. I have never been a true staunch, crazy supporter of Donald Trump. I supported him, but I have always been first and foremost a leader in my movement of illegal immigration as the president and founder of Mothers Against Illegal Aliens, and I looked at him through that lens. I always looked at him through that lens and no other lens. I didn't look at him as just a voter, and I didn't put down my hat as a leader in this movement to be crazy in love with Donald Trump, because this issue has been too important, and we've put our lives on the line for this movement. And I wanted to make sure that this candidate was going to be a true candidate and a truthful candidate. And I have questions about him from the very beginning in July of 2015, because he came out talking about a merit system, if you recall.
Yeah.
And I questioned that. And that was my first red flag about Donald Trump. Although, like you said, what was the alternative when you looked at it, the very end result? It was him or Hillary Clinton. And then some of the other candidates obviously weren't even really hard on the issues that I wanted that were important to us. So Donald Trump was our guy, if you will, and we were hoping that he could be informed or educated along the way, because many people looked at Donald Trump and they still make excuses. People who are still hanging on to Donald Trump now, their excuses are usually a few. Either they'll say give him more time, or they'll say he's learning, or they'll say that he's got the swamp against him, or they'll say that he doesn't have all his candidates, his cabinet not in place. These are all excuses.
Let me ask you.
The comments and the decisions. Excuse me?
No, let me stop you 1 second. This is important. I'm glad you're saying all these things. The point is this one here. First of all, what I really don't like here, when people, you cannot even have a conversation. Like you are talking to zombies that they're on some special drugs, that if you touch their messiah, don't you dare to criticize anything about him. That's for me the most, the sad thing that could happen in America. Because, this is no difference when we have Mussolini in Italy or Hitler in Germany. Don't you dare to question the Führer. Don't you dare to question.
That's right.
No, this is wrong. We're in America. No, we can have a conversation. And honestly, especially when you try to bring facts, because, I'm not trying even when it was Obama that I was calling him names, I always bring facts, okay? I don't like just to go out there. Even that would be no problem. But here we're trying to have a logical, very reasonable conversation showing evidence that something is not right. So, as Americans, we should be concerned. Now, exactly, what did I have my own opinions and my facts. What exactly President Trump, when it started to fail you as a constituent, as a voter, as an American, when it started to, from the first week that he jumped into office, when did you lose him, or when did he lose you? What did he do?
Well, I was very concerned once he was nominated as the president, and then in December of last year, when he started changing his tone about the DACA recipients, which is the deferred action, for childhood arrivals. And those are not children, as we all know. For your listeners, they're adults. See, we're talking about adults. These are not babies. These are not children. And all of these DACA recipients, they actually are citizens of another country, and they know it. So it's not as though that they're homeless or they're orphans or they don't have a country. But yet, during his campaign, we had video that, he's stating that he was going to rescind DACA and he was going to send them and deport them, and he'd arranged to have them come back legally. That was what he ran on. But once he was elected, and even prior to the election, he was on Sean Hannity, and it was actually, for me, I just thought it was pitiful. He had the family members of victims of illegal alien crime sitting behind him with Sean Hannity on the stage. And in front of these family members, he was talking about being lenient and possibly, letting those that were good people stay in the United States, which was not his tone during the election. He was very much about deporting illegal aliens, securing the border, and following the law. He started changing once he got Kellyanne Conway in as his campaign manager. He began to get a softer tone. And then in December, he talked about the DACA members and said that he was going to make everybody happy. He was going to work something out and everybody would be happy. These were clear indications that things were going south. And then once he was inaugurated in, about a month after that, he then gets on the news and starts talking about the DACA kids, saying that it's a difficult decision dealing with this issue, that he loves these kids. He talks about his pure love for the DACA. I mean, he doesn't even know these people from what the public knows, but here he loves these children. And he says, and the thing that troubled me the most was he said that it was a very difficult thing to do what was right because of the way the law was written. It was very difficult for him the way the law was. And that's terribly disturbing coming from the President of the United States, talking about those who are illegally in the United States, who he promised he was going to deport and rescind an executive order that during his election he called Obama's executive amnesties. Quote, he called those executive orders for DACA executive amnesties of Obama. Yet today, that executive amnesty of Obama still stands. Donald Trump has not rescinded it. He has not even suspended the application process for them.
Wow.
So they are being applied by 1,000 per day.
Wow.
And those that have had it continue to be able to renew it for an additional 2 years. So he's right now an amnesty president, whether people like it or not. But I'd like to go back and hit a point that you just said real quick, because it's really important, and it's true, that the biggest part about talking to people who are Trump supporters is you cannot even have a logical discussion with those that are Trump supporters. And I'm talking about even people I know that know me that voted for Donald Trump. It gets to the core of how I feel that I just did an interview for Politico that they quoted me on, that I said, could this have been the most elaborate reality show that was perpetrated on the United States of America people, and that this is just an illusion in order for him to get elected using our movement of illegal immigration, and yet also pulling on the heartstrings of patriots, true patriot people of America who are truly in their hearts wanting to believe the best. But unfortunately, I think that they're going down a rabbit hole because it doesn't look good. And the thing is these people cannot even have a logical conversation without attacking their own friends and even unfriending their own friends. Yeah. And it's very, very sad because normally I can have conversations that I do with liberals and Democrats and logical people who feel those, who categorize themselves in those directions because they're at least willing to have a logical conversation on both sides. But in this case, Donald Trump's people, and, I hate to say that because, you heard these stories during the election on the news. You heard the Trump supporters beating up people and being bullies. And I never really got into that because I never got into the rallies that came towards the latter end that got violent. But I am seeing a similarity to that with those that even leaders in the movement like myself, and I've got other people that are leaders that have been around before Donald Trump ever came around, we're bringing up facts and things that we're seeing as red flags, and we are being literally attacked without even the people who are listening to us even realizing that we've got stuff under our belt. We've got, we've got legitimate time on our side and legitimate actions that we can produce, that we have been in this movement fighting this, that we have some substance to bring. We've got skin in the game, and it means nothing.
Michelle, let me ask you something. This is important because, first of all, it is very disturbing when I see this cult of personalities, okay? After all, these people are supposed to be public servants, not gods, okay? They're treating them like gods. When I go on Facebook, and I don't care who is your man, if it's Obama or Trump or whatever, Bush, I stand behind him no matter what. I mean, really. I mean, what are you crazy? I mean, what type of Kool-Aid are you drinking here? These people, first of all, they are human beings. They are public servants. People forget that, okay? But more important, as I said, now we look at the evidence. I'm trying to look at this from a scientific point of view. Before the elections, I was very concerned, and I play a few times the video that I don't know exactly who produced it, but was very well done. I might play it again. That show Trump during the years, how he felt about illegal immigration, how he felt the idea that he would never going to deport the poor children from illegal aliens, okay? That was on the record. So I always said, you know what, it's going to be interesting how this is going to end up. Because now he said during the election, I changed my mind, I'm another person, even when it comes down to gun rights, we have to see it. Now, so I never had really high hope, but now we start to see, according to the things that we know and things that you just mentioned, they are facts, by the way. Everybody can check it out. Now there is no more excuse. He's the president. He can get some gasoline, not even get, another executive order. All he has to do is get some gasoline and some matches and burn what Obama wrote as executive orders when it comes down to the amnesty, and just move on in probably 5 minutes. No. It's still there. So these are the serious things. He does a good show when it comes down to other issues that at least, need to give us some potatoes once in a while, some meat. But when it comes to the real issues here, there's still no action. There is still no action. Now, what I'm really concerned here, the fact that all these Republicans, they call themselves, conservative, they're getting to a new age of almost, it reminds me stories that I heard from my grandfather. And that's what I really think when I see now the plan. After all, nothing happens by accident. Hillary, right now, supposedly, she's supposed to face trial because we know very well, everybody knows in this country around the world that she broke so many laws, and now there is no more excuse. Trump as the new attorney general, why Hillary is still walking around. That's another important point that I'm very concerned. But more important now, we'll see the plan. Now, Trump can get away with all the things Obama was getting away and much more. I'm very concerned with the fact that we know very well now a man called the president can just have, access to unlimited power of military industrial complex that we have, start to drop bombs and missiles to any country that doesn't like it with any excuse, and drag us in World War III or World War IV without any type of anymore of constitutional boundaries that normally we know very well that the Constitution states only Congress can declare war. And you see this zombie out there say, after all, this is not a war. Oh, really? What if they drop 50 bombs in Texas or 50 bombs in Phoenix? Where would you go? Like a love declaration? Would you not go to war? The only reason why Syria cannot go to war to us because they have no resources. But if you hit Russia with 50 bombs, I'm sure it's going to be a declaration of war. So I am concerned about this also. What do you think about this latest change of mind on Syria? Completely change your mind.
Well, the thing is that I just it doesn't settle right with me when I heard that they went and dropped bombs on Syria. And the reason why I say that is not that whatever is going on in Syria is not important, but I don't feel that right now for the United States of America that that's the place where we need to be. And especially Donald Trump, I don't have confidence right now in his decisions. I'm sorry to say. I know he got Gorsuch in as the Supreme Court justice, and I'm very glad about that because watching his interviews, being interviewed by, the Congress prior to being, sworn in, he impressed me tremendously. So that's one good thing I do like. But I don't believe that Donald Trump has his ducks in an order to now get involved in because if something's going to happen, we're going to have troops involved, and yet he was elected to take care of specific things like health care and immigration and jobs and other things. And you know what? You can only spread yourself so thin. And if we're going to get into another war now, 78 days into his administration, I think it was, when he started dropping bombs on Syria, and as of today, they say, the mother lode of a bomb that was a non-nuclear bomb. It was not a nuclear bomb, but it was the biggest one that's non-nuclear in Afghanistan. So now we're dropping bombs in Syria. Today I see the news, we're dropping bombs in Afghanistan, and I'm thinking, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
When these were not things he was talking about when he was campaigning. And they say, well, okay, the Afghanistan thing that people are supposing it's because we lost a service member there the other day. So what? We lose one service member and we drop the mother lode of a bomb there. I mean, we can't do this. I mean, we lose troops all the time, all over the place, and I don't like losing any of my fellow veterans because I'm an Air Force veteran. I don't like our guys being in danger in the Middle East. That's gone on forever. I mean, we probably should have bombed the crap out of them to begin with, but the reality is what is he doing? I don't know. And when you got people like John McCain, who's the senator of my state of Arizona, condoning and praising these events, it worries me very much, especially when he was a staunch critic of Donald Trump, and now you see all the people who are Democrats and the Republicans that were against Donald Trump all loving on Donald Trump right now. These things are very, very worrisome. I'm not comfortable with it. So to be honest with you, I'm not comfortable with it. And then again, Donald Trump talks about the love of, obviously the kids for DACA. He loves the kids, and that's an issue. Then he talks about he's seeing video of children dying in Syria. So was this a knee-jerk reaction again because of children? But yet, I don't want a president that's going to keep making decisions because of his feelings about children. Because I want to protect American children, which is why I thought we elected him to protect our American families, because he was all about America first. You know, and you're absolutely right when you say these people are not gods; they're public servants. And you know, everybody's on this Trump train. And a lady that we interviewed not that long ago, and she actually did another one, did a video that I had talked to. Very great. It's the American train. We should be all on the American train, not on any particular person's last name train, because they're only human beings, and they're not gods. And I was not raised in any way, shape, or form to bow down to anyone. It's about integrity, and hopefully our leaders and our politicians have integrity that we can trust those people. But they're only people.
Yeah, let me ask you something. You know, I wasn't in the country, but I studied a little bit American history. When President Reagan was here, you know, at the beginning, it seemed like, you know, for example, he didn't get along at all with Bush father, you know, Mr. Bush. You know, they were completely two different things, and he seemed really like little bit like Donald Trump. He really wanted to do the right things for the American people. Then he got elected. First of all, the first thing really seemed very strange. The secret meeting. He hated so much Bush, but guess what? Bush became his vice president. Right there's something that probably people should ask. What's going on there in Washington, really? Who are really the master puppets behind the scenes who decide all this? Because after all, you know, is the president. You should say, no, I don't want you around. I mean, you are completely the antithesis of what I am. So instead, he was there. But more important, you know, he had all these great ideas. And then at the end, what happened? He got shot. And after he got shot, of course, the reality was that all his administration, at least a huge part of his administration, was all filled by members of the Council of Foreign Relations. And people out there say, what are you talking about? Let me tell you something. This is not a conspiracy. If people believe that, first of all you have to do is read a book. One of our best U.S. senators that we had, Barry Goldwater, he wrote a book with no apology. I invite everybody to read it. And he completely explained what is the Council of Foreign Relations. It is an international organization with the purpose to destroy American sovereignty. So pretty much working for the global government. So what happened? Now President Trump, already has a huge portion of his staffers and administration filled with all members of the Council of Foreign Relations. So right there, we should give us a warning. Now, you remember how he used to talk before the elections, or even just the first couple of weeks, you know, really out of, you know, no reading, nothing, out of his heart. Now, did you see his speech? Did you watch his speech after justifying this bombing in Syria? I mean, that was completely a different person, in my opinion. He was reading, he was acting different. Now, you know, I don't care, and I don't know exactly what's going on there, because, you know, we have all conspiracy ideas, opinions, or maybe theories. My theory could be, number one, best case scenario, they just told him, they show him the video, grass and all, and say, this is what's going to happen to you and your family. Could be. Still, doesn't justify it, because at that point, you are the president, you must lead us. And if we have to clean the swamp, we will do it in any way we can, but you cannot just give in. That would be number one option, but I don't give him a justification for that. Number two could be, he was always part of the scam, and at this point now he's just acting what's supposed to do. And number three, maybe, I don't know. I leave it to you. What do you think? Maybe they brainwash him. I don't know. What do you think really happened?
Nope. My opinion is, I believe it's number two, and I posted this, that I believe that this has been the art of the deal was made before he ever ran for office. Because the art of the deal for Donald Trump was the deal for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
It was not the deal for America. Because the deal for America, if the deal was for America, we would not be struggling. The mothers who are coming out, like Brenda Sparks, who's one of the mothers who met Donald Trump, who's even come out openly to state, and she's in the Political article too, the Political article that just came out today, stating that he promised her to her face that he was going to rescind DACA. He said it numerous times. If the art of the deal was made for America, the mothers like her would not be feeling the feelings they feel right now of betrayal. I would not be out feeling like, as a leader in the movement of illegal immigration, that I feel that there's something really wrong on the landscape. And he wouldn't be making the statements when he first gets elected how much he loves the illegal alien DACA adults. And he has still yet to talk about American children that he loves. And further, we've had a 2-year-old raped by an illegal alien. We've had multiple rapes by girls in high schools recently by illegal aliens. And daily, weekly, we're hearing of rapes by illegal aliens, of living victims of illegal immigration crime. And Donald Trump has not tweeted or come out at all.
Yeah, I
this
understand.
is a movement.
This
is a movement that Donald Trump used for himself.
I agree. At least, honestly, I agree with you. And the sad thing, as I said, all you have to do, look at the evidence. People want to find excuses. We can find excuses and excuses. Now, for example, Obamacare, is something that, my opinion, I don't want to replace Obamacare with Rhino Care or with Ryan Care or with Trump Care. I want just to burn Obamacare, because the reality is government should never be in business to do that, because whatever government has been doing, and I give you the practical example. I used to pay, even with when our healthcare wasn't perfect, even when the system was still controlled by the government, and there was not really a free market. So, the story, health insurance companies, they cannot even sell across the state. So we still had high prices. But still then, before Obamacare, my plan with Humana used to be $129 a month. And it was a decent plan. I don't go to doctors, but for me it was great. 100% coverage. And, I had only $5,000 deductible. I was very happy, or even less. So after Obamacare, now I'm supposed to pay, according to their Affordable Care Act, $620 a month. So my point is this one. There is no more excuse. The illusion must be gone. Obama, Trump, Ryan, Schumer, all these people, they are together in bed. Because now Congress, Senate, the presidency, all they have to do is say, you know what? Even when things they weren't perfect, let's go back the way we were. They have all the numbers to repeal all this. No, it's still there. And people are still somehow losing life, losing money, losing business, and the economy is still suffering because, we are draining this money into the socialistic, totalitarian system called Affordable Care Act. And the point is, Trump, of course, is just the president after all. He's supposed not even to legislate. But after all, he's just still there with all this Paul Ryan. They're not going to do anything for us. So I have completely confirmation that, that's why I burned my Republican Party. But, I was trying to give him a chance to President Trump. But right now I have really, besides few issues that we will see with the Second Amendment, how it's going to turn out, I'm disappointed. I'm disgusted, but more important, I'm disgusted with my fellow Americans that they don't even want to have the chance to have an honest conversation when it comes down to issues, and they treat you like you're an evil person just because you bring them the truth. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear the truth because after they need to start to do something. That's why I really think is going on here. Anything else you want to say about are you concerned about World War III here? Because now Trump is going to Korea with an armada. And then, of course, Russia is pretty disappointed. I mean, think about it. We had the lowest level, according to President Trump, with our relationship with Russia. I thought we were going to do better. This is exactly what...
Well, let me just...
Go ahead.
Well, Luca, this is the way I see this. I have to look at all of this and realize that I think that this was why Donald Trump was put in, because of the people he's now placing in his cabinet and the people that he's placing closest to him, like his daughter and her husband. And the fact that, we're looking at two issues here. One is, like you said, why can't Trump supporters talk to each other? Why can't we openly discuss this so that we can, help ourselves or help our country, because it's up to us to try to resolve trying to talk to each other, but everyone's fighting, which I think was the plan. I think that was the ultimate plan, and why I call this the reality show of reality shows that Donald Trump played on the American people. Because the people who are running this country, it's not Donald Trump, obviously we know that. Someone else is running this program, but they needed Donald Trump in there because Hillary wasn't going to be the choice. Nobody wanted Hillary in there, and Donald Trump was the one that they wanted to get in because they wanted him to get all the people to love him so much by turning the media against him, and then they defended him so much that now, even when they hear true news, they deny the true news because they will only hear what comes out of Donald Trump's lips. And if it doesn't come out of Donald Trump's lips, they don't believe it. So they're sitting ducks right now while Donald Trump then surrounds himself now with the people, the very people that wanted Donald Trump to be there, so it would buy them time, that I believe, to get into these wars, to get into these countries and drop these bombs right away. God forbid if I'm true, if I'm right, because what's really happening is his base are sitting ducks waiting and hoping and giving him more time and believing in him the whole time. While, you know, they'll see a bomb drop, and I see it on the Facebook. They're so thrilled. They're so happy. You know, this is great. But this isn't that great, because this isn't what we were planning and what we voted for Donald Trump to do when he first got into office. Yep. We have not been attacked. 9/11 didn't happen during his watch. Right now, it's 80 days into his presidency, he's dropped bombs in Syria and now in Afghanistan. It took George Bush up until September 11th of the first year he was inaugurated before we got hit by the United States by ISIS or by Osama bin Laden in New York, and then we went into Afghanistan and then into Iraq. The thing is right now, Donald Trump hasn't even had an attack yet. Yes, we've lost a couple of guys because we've got so many members over in the Middle East, but he's already, let's put it this way. Are we blowing our load before a real hit happens to America? God forbid. I don't know. But the reality is the promise that he got elected for, which was to secure our borders, stop illegal immigration, and we currently have rapes of children, and he's remaining silent, but he's out there bombing on what? So I just don't understand. Do I think something bad's going to happen?
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
Well, I know one thing. It's very sad when I know that if it was Obama dropping the bombs, like he's been dropping many bombs. I mean, Obama dropped more bombs than Bush. Think about it. And, of course, the Democrats didn't say a word. They were all in silence. Finally, they love war. Then the Republicans, during Obama, of course, they were concerned. So, after all, this guy is out of control. I mean, he can pretty much do whatever he wants, with all this spring and Arab Springs and Libya and stuff. I mean, completely destabilizing the Middle East. That's pretty much part of the plans of the Council of Foreign Relations and the globalists, like McCain, like the Schumer.
Right, right. But Luca, let me just interrupt you, though. So he destabilizes the Middle East. Do you think that they're just going to leave it hanging like that? Hell no. No. That's why Donald Trump is right in there, because he's continuing on what they're doing. If you look, there's a video on the internet of General Wesley Clark, talking specifically about the fact that Syria is one of the states that they need to take down.
Exactly.
They talk about Libya, and this is in the plans of what's going on. Donald Trump is just going along with the script. Exactly. And the people of the United States are just ignorant to what history. They don't understand politics. They're just so happy that they think Donald Trump is dropping bombs. Oh, this is great. This is great. It's another production, just
Michelle,
like the productions of his campaign.
I try to approach this from this point. Before even we go into the reality of, let's say, these attacks in general towards another country, they're right or not. My point is, if all these conservative people, that they call themselves conservative, constitutionalists, Republicans, whatever you want to say, they really believe in the Constitution, they should go back to the foundation of this country. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 11 of the United States Constitution grants Congress, and Congress only, the power to declare war. That means why that was done. Because differently from other countries, where normally you can have a king or an emperor or whatever, think about how much power a man or a woman could have if arbitrarily, without any type of restrictions, let's say, for example, I'm the president of this country, and I don't like you on the other side of the world. I think, you can do it. I don't like your face. Guess what? I don't need Congress. I'm going to drop a couple bombs on your head today. I mean, that's why this republic was created, that Congress, we the people, have that very, let's say, destructive power to declare war. And, and all these now zombies out there say, guess what? We have all these new laws, and more important, Vietnam, and then Bush, and whatever. Guys, evil doesn't justify new evil. All evil doesn't justify new evil. I mean, yes, let me tell you, even Vietnam, we got pretty much destroyed in our constitutional right to have Congress declaring war. Since the Korean War, there was no more a war. There was no more declaration of war. The last real war that we declared was the World War II. But doesn't mean now that because we've been bashed and we've been abused all these years, that Trump's supposed to get away with more abuse towards us. The president, it is dangerous. Dropping 50 bombs or one bomb, I don't care, into a sovereign country without any type of danger to us. Syria wasn't doing anything to us. Whatever you want to say, I don't care about the babies. You know, there are a lot of many babies that are dying every day. First of all, in my opinion, that was a false flag. That was all created. Well, that was a real fake news. Whoever is behind did also a bad job. Mike Savage, he did a great show about also as an expert in chemical to show there was all creation. But beside that, even if it was real, it is not the duty of our American president to go after every human being around the planet. We have here a serious problem, as you said. And if you really want to start to drop bombs on some country, you better go to Congress, we the people, we analyze the fact, and you don't have that type of, finger trigger, happy trigger, just to start to, because you feel like John Wayne. No. And the sad thing, as you said, all these ignorant people out there made me really sad. Because when I hear these stories about finally a president with some balls or some backbones, guys, some of you never had to kill anybody. Some of you always living fed with the fridge close to you, never had this country occupied and living under an occupation. Your fathers, grandfathers had to go to war. Some of you didn't have to. And I tell you something, even for the one that they are going to war, I feel sorry, guys, because, you've been used. And many of you, I know many veterans, they know the truth. They came back from Afghanistan with the truth. There were no weapons of mass destruction. Saddam Hussein was set up. More important, was created and was used like they use all these puppets. Same story. Now it's about America. And I'm sorry. I feel sorry for the American people. And Trump is just a puppet. I hope maybe there is an hope that he can, I don't know. I have no hopes, honestly, at this point. He's showing his colors.
Well, as you know, I'm an Air Force veteran. And when I go to the VA, I see a lot of these guys coming back. And, you talk about the issues with the VA in general. They talk about the health care and getting the VA together. I just look at this at another angle, too. God forbid we start sending more of our guys over there. We have more people sent home in body bags, men and women. And think about this. What are they going to do? Maybe start a draft? I don't know. And are American people ready to start seeing their daughters and their granddaughters in body bags coming home, blown up in pieces? People need to really think about when they're so excited that bombs are being thrown. And I agree with you. I don't feel that we should have gone into Syria.
But listen, also,
I didn't even know that this was that. I mean, we saw whatever videos, but who knows what's out there? Propaganda videos a day before, and the next day I find out we're dropping bombs. Again, what was his negotiation skills? He says he's a master negotiator. Well, he didn't negotiate anything.
Listen, all I'm saying that if we want to go to war, we at least should follow the Constitution, where Congress is responsible for that power. That's the bottom line. Not just one man, not one woman. Because I say, guys out there, today you got Trump, your hero. Tomorrow could be a Hillary, could be a Democrat. You really want to give that power to an individual that you do not trust. That's my point. That's why we're supposed to be a republic, not some sort of a kingdom. But also another thing, I want to tell you something. What I'm really concerned here now, remember, America never has been invaded, besides, of course, by the British and things like that. But we always had the enemies overseas. Now we are facing a new reality in this geopolitical scenario. We have Russia. We have China, especially China, that is the incredible force. I mean, there are 1 billion people there. They have at least 20 million people that can be deployed. And we talk about military occupation, colonization, the war resources, Russia, Korea, North Korea, of course. The point is, when you create the scenario that you lose the moral edge and you give the advantage in front of the eyes of the public opinion to become the bad guy, that means at that point they declare war on you. And when you lose the war, all you have to look what happened in Germany. They're still occupied. They've been divided. In my opinion, and I hope I'm wrong, this that I see what the plan of the globalists they're trying to do. Obama destroyed our military force the last 8 years. We are now to level pre-World War II. We are very weak. We've been completely abused, and our soldiers, they are completely, a lower number and everything else. Meanwhile, we are losing the moral edge. Because when you start to bomb countries that they are none of your business, you don't look good. Meanwhile, we have an incredible coalition of forces against us. I mean, look at Russia allied with China. I mean, and China has all the technology that we had because we gave it to them thanks to the Clinton and other traders, of course. So right now, we could face a scenario that Trump is going to bring us in World War III that we cannot win. And then at the end, what's going to happen? The globalists, finally, they destroy America. Finally, they will have an occupied force with soldiers on U.S. soil. And that's because we fell in the trap. And I really start to believe you're right. I start to believe Trump, he was probably part of this reality TV show, the final. And I'm sorry because, I voted for him. I'm not shy to say that. And I would do probably again because I could not have, I wanted to give him at least one chance in a million. That, for sure Hillary didn't give me the chance. So I had to try.
Right.
But I want to say to the Democrats out there, don't think that your lady was going to do much better because they're following the same masters. War for war, globalists for globalists. I give you the floor to close, whatever you think.
Well, God help America and God bless America. And I just hope that the people, whoever listens to this, just start talking to your friends, start talking to people. The people who are like me talking, we're not against anything. We love our country, and we see some stuff that's really not happening right, and we need to stop fighting each other.
Exactly. My point is I wish I could support President Trump in everything he said, even if we don't agree on some issue, but at least he sticks to the things he said. Okay? Now it's a completely 180 degrees direction, and that scares me because it's not just some minor issue. Even if it was to taxation, even things about, for example, intrusion of government are pretty bad in corporations. Now it's becoming fascist, by the way. We're talking about World War III, for God's sake, guys. Some of you, they think they are like Rambo, behind the computer. It's different. There is no reset button. When your life is gone, when the economy is gone, when you go to war and you have faced an invasion, this is not a game. Seriously, guys, don't get...
Luca, one thing, remember, we're not even talking about the fact that we have so many more Middle Easterners that have been brought into this country through Obama.
Yeah.
And we've got so many that are here that I've seen it and I've seen it on the street. I've seen it on Facebook. There are many that have come here that there's no love for America. We've heard of the training camps here on American soil.
Yeah.
Our borders have been left wide open. I mean, when the day comes, we've had events here in the United States already, with, terrorist attacks in the United States. What's going to say that we keep continuing this stuff with the Middle East, and we've got the people within our country.
Yeah.
It's here. It's just, if we think that the war is always in another country and it's not going to happen on American soil, people wake the hell up. Wake up. And I'm just going to say, a lot of people that might be listening to your show might not have young kids. I know a lot of people that deal with the schools, the public schools. I've got kids in the public school. They're teaching Islam and the 5 pillars of Islam to our students in the United States of America, and they have been doing it for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
It's gotten into our schools. We can't talk about Christian things. They're taking away Easter. It's not Easter holiday. It's just what is it? April break. They're talking April break. It's not good. This is where we're at in America. So if we don't think that World War III or an invasion of the United States can't happen on our shores, look at the American people that are so divided by illegal aliens who are here, who say let them stay and let them not stay. Let them get, we have such a divide. It is a tinderbox. We are in serious trouble.
And all they need is now an excuse of a crisis. They could be real or false flag, doesn't matter. Because at that point, everybody must shut up and follow and support the commander-in-chief. That's what I'm really afraid. And that's how fascism is born. That's how you create this situation. Listen, Michelle, I really appreciate you because, you're not just a friend, but I respect you as a woman and also as an American because not many people out there, they have the time and the courage to go also and say things where they're not popular. And I like that of you. You don't care, like me, I don't care about people's things. I tell you what I really think is true, at least according to my heart. So I really want to commend you for that, okay? Please be in touch.
Thank you.
All right, listen, guys. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. A little break, then we go into our number 2. Do not go away. Please understand what I'm trying to do here. I wish President Trump was the man we wanted. Even, of course, the Democrats may hate him. I don't care. I wish, I don't care which politician. I don't like parties. I'm here to completely remind you that I hate all the parties. I am here disgusted with the Republicans as much as with the Democrats because they're all working together. They don't work for the American people. We need to look now into men, into women, into individuals. That's the bottom line. Okay, don't go away. I'll talk to you in a few seconds. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman.
I'm not afraid.
And a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth.
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Here we go, back into the studio. This is Luca Zanna. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom on KTOX 1340 AM. Just to let you know, the last few days I've been told by somebody that used to be my Facebook friend that I used to push Trump on you guys. First of all, whatever she says, I don't really care, honestly, at this point. But more important, be clear. Anytime I say something on this show, when I tell you something, I never tell you what to do. I may tell you what I do. And this is it. I don't tell you who to vote for. I don't tell you what to do. I always say, use your brain. I give you my opinion. Simple as that. And talking about Trump, I have no shame, and I tell you, I have no secrets to tell you that first of all, you can listen to some of my first shows. I was always questioning. More important, I was bringing facts, reality, not being naive. I remember I played that audio, of course, of this video. The Trump pretty much is double sides, or at least they change your mind or change your heart on many issues, from gun control to abortion to borders. And I always said, I pray that the new Trump that we see today, it will do at least half of the things he's doing or he's saying. So, still, even I knew that there are great chances that maybe not what we were hoping for. I did what I did, and that was my personal choice. On this show, I want to be clear. I will never tell you. That's why I never endorse any candidate. First of all, I'm nobody to endorse anybody. Seriously. All I do, I can tell you what I may do. Sometimes I don't even tell you that. I keep it for myself. That's the bottom line. So, please, before people start to say, oh, you were trying to push on us, I tell you only one thing, though. I said in public, we were facing, and we are still facing, a certain death. After 8 years of Obama, and with also our Justice Scalia gone, to have Hillary Clinton in office, that would have been the complete, immediate death of this republic. Imagine now the new Supreme Justice Justice. Just right there, this country would have been gone. Second Amendment, we would be to a new level of, really started to be ready for civil war. So the point is, that was like you have a complete bleeding in one of the biggest artery of your body, and you're dying probably in 30 seconds if you don't put something on top, as I said. And Trump was the only thing we had a chance to put on it. Let's be honest, as much as I like libertarians. By the way, the last two candidates from the Libertarian Party, they were a joke, complete joke. We want to talk about the vice president position on gun control, the assault weapon. It don't even make me laugh. So the point is, regardless, it was a waste of a vote completely. And we had to stop that loaded train that was called Hillary Clinton. Now, is Trump part of the same train? Probably. At the same time, we were giving him a chance. Even if just one, we had to, in my opinion. At least I had to. You don't have to. I have a lot of friends, they even didn't vote. And probably they were right. Probably there was no change. We still look at this foreign policy. We are still here, continuing the agenda of Obama. Obama was continuing the agenda of Bush. And that's the agenda of the globalists, of the Council of Foreign Relations. Let's look, for example, at the past, as I said. The Reagan administration Reagan started with some good ideas, and he said that it was going to be completely the man of the people, at least different from all this establishment. Then bang, he was forced to have Vice President Bush. Well, they were pretty much, he was part of the CFR. And more important, in all his cabinet, he had to somehow, miraculously, he had all these members of the Council of Foreign Relations. So you see the story. That's the point. So I don't know really how we can save this republic now. If this man was somehow at least an attempt, that's all I can say. It was an attempt. Now, I'm really concerned about World War III. That's the reality. That's for me the most important issue right now, because yes, taxes is important. Yes, the economy is important. Yes, Obamacare is important. But the point here, if we go to World War III, everything's going to be pretty much useless. That's the reality. And as I said, I really believe the scenario we are facing is being set up. It's like some sort of chess game started a long time ago. Remember, America is not more the America we used to have militarily. We've been depleted. We've been exhausted. Our technology has been sold and given away. We are in an inferior position. Now, all we have to do is to be in a moral inferior position. They will provoke war. And when you are morally, let's say, in the bad corner, and you look like the bad guy, and you start a war, then when you lose a war, you lose it all. That's my fear. And that's, I think, what the globalists have prepared for us. We were going to face Russia, China, Korea. And I said there is this TV series I really invite people to watch for free on YouTube. It's called America with a K. Go on YouTube, put America with a K, and put TV series. It was made in the 80s. This TV series is pretty much scary, depressing, but very well done. So much that there was a lot of pressure by the United Nations and by Russia to remove it. I think it was on CBS network. There were some famous actors like Robert Ulrich and Chris Christopherson. I really invite you to watch this because it talks about exactly all the things we are facing. The balkanization of America, America under occupation by Russians and the United Nations. Everything, from Common Core to youth brigades and, of course, Agenda 21. I mean, this is scary stuff. So listen, guys, that's what I'm saying. And if you don't like what I say, you don't have to listen to me. And when somebody blocks me on Facebook, please stop writing me emails. Okay, after all, you block me. You sound like an idiot. Seriously. You keep writing me. If you block me, why you do that? Life is short. Enjoy it. I have no hard feeling with anybody. Seriously, guys. If you don't like my political positions, that's fine. We don't need to be married, okay? I mean, let's just be civil and move on. I don't have hate for anybody. I want you well. I just want to be left alone in peace, okay? If you don't like what I say, enjoy your life. Anyway, ready for our number 2. We have a great guest, great information. This is coming from a Democrat, a real Democrat that I think is an American first, more important. I don't think it's true. He understands the importance of the Second Amendment. And we will articulate together some very sad news, what happened recently in San Bernardino County in California with these terrible gun-free zones in the school. Okay, do not go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. Ciao.
You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on United States.FM network. Time. Get your Arizona Concealed Carry Permit now with Arizona Concealed Carry Permit by Zanna Enterprises, LLC. Become a more responsible and educated gun owner. Carry legally concealed in 35 states. Carry permitted in restaurants where alcohol is served. Learn where and how you can legally carry a firearm in Arizona. Learn where you can use deadly force. Where can you display your gun or not for self-defense? Learn how to deal with law enforcement while carrying a firearm. Learn how to be aware of your surroundings and how to avoid a confrontation. Buy your gun without waiting for a background check. Get your Arizona concealed carry permit now. Go to www.azccw.us. Go to www.azccw.us. Free for single mothers and people with disabilities.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM. And also, of course, on UnitedStates.fm. This is the second hour, the hour about guns. In this hour, I talk about several things. It is not just a part about guns as training, mindset, ideas, even some products. And of course, also I remind you, if you have something to sell, especially if you are in Arizona, of course, we can sell here privately. I want to give you the microphone. You can privately sell to another Arizona resident, okay? So that's the beautiful thing. So in case you have something to sell or to barter or whatever, just give me an email, zanna@zanna.us, or go to lovegunsfreedom.com so you can reach me. And let's say you have maybe some guns from you want to barter or sell or whatever. None of my business. I give you the microphone. You can, of course, share this opportunity with other listeners, okay? Now, talking about another state, California, little different reality. I remind you that this station, of course, 1340 AM, is based in Needles, California. It is just exactly on the other side of the river, of the Colorado River. And it's sad to see how just few yards on the other side of the border, how a human being can completely have all his basic human rights of self-defense almost denied. I say denied pretty much. And that's sad because I feel for my fellow Americans, friends and brothers that they are on the other side of this magic line. It's almost like you are in another country, almost like you are in Europe or maybe another world, seriously. So today I want to bring on the show a guest that I had many times, probably has been one of my first listeners, I guess. And we talk about him about many things, of course. He's a Democrat, but I always say he's a different kind of Democrat. So don't expect somebody that is going to try to immediately infringe on your rights. No, this man understands the importance of the Second Amendment. And that's why I said, I learned from him. Sometimes, I used to be pretty much black and white. And don't get me wrong, I don't even like Republicans. But when I heard the word Democrats in the past, I was freaking out. Don't get me wrong, my guest is an exception. Unfortunately, I wish there were more Democrats like him. But at least he can teach to other Democrats common sense. And more important, that we have a right. It's called the Second Amendment. His name is Ronald O'Donnell from San Bernardino County. And Ronald, are you there?
Yes, I am, Zanna, and thank you so much. It's such a wonderful gift to have this opportunity to be on your show.
Thank you.
Again.
Listen, we talk about many things, about Trump, about your campaign. You've been probably one of the most, I think I had you on my show more than any other guest. But I like that. You're a real guy, and, you've done a lot of great things. You show also to your party what it means to stand for the principle, stand for the truth, and do not cave into the party politics and, more important, corruption. So I really commend you for that. Now, today I want to talk mostly about the Second Amendment, especially in the light of this terrible, I don't even want to call it, it's not an accident, it's a tragedy, it's a criminal act of this crazy person, I guess. We will see exactly what more details you have. That at the school in San Bernardino area, he went there, this man, and he killed his wife and two little babies, baby kids, students. They pay the consequences of this criminal act. So can you give me more updates? You're there. This is local news. What exactly happened in San Bernardino school about this very violent and deadly criminal act? Give me more details, please.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Now, as you know, it only happened a few days ago, so if you notice, there's not anything on the news about it anymore. It's just that it happened, and they never identified the identities of the people, the guy that killed her and the wife until yesterday,
wow.
Right? And I always know that when they don't do an identity, it's because it's someone that is of a minority color. So I already knew. And that's just California. And I think that's a national issue. So if they don't say a white guy shot somebody, then everybody knows that. If it's a white guy, I'm telling you right now, they'll have his photograph, they'll have his high school pictures, you know. But if it's anyone that's a minority in California, they just don't mention it until they have to. And in this case, this guy who had 3 ex-wives, she was the third one, she had left him for domestic violence, had a weapon, even though he had an order not to have one.
Wow.
And he was mentally ill, it turns out.
Wow.
And she left him because of domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
And that happens all across America almost every day. But what's exceptional again here is that he walked into a school that has a no-gun or gun-free zone, you know.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, that means bring a gun in, and it says drug-free zone, and, you know, there's a place to sell your drugs, you know. There's not going to be any law enforcement. There'll be no one there because it's free, right? There aren't any guns. He walks right past the front desk and just waves, I'm bringing her lunch. And, of course, he pulls his gun out of the bag and fires in the ceiling.
Oh, my gosh.
A guy that should never have a weapon if we followed the laws that we have. There are laws in place to protect us from this.
Yeah.
But no one follows the laws because we have so many, no one knows exactly what it is. I mean, we have laws on the books. But he fires in the ceiling. Of course, the kids ran behind a teacher for protection.
Wow. That's so sad.
So they're holding on to their teacher because, you know, little kids, 8, 9, 10 years old, they love their teacher.
That's
and
so
the teacher is their protector. Well, of course, the bullet, 45, went through her, a number of them, and hit the students behind. Now, one is hanging on. The other one died, you know, at the scene, and the other one's in the hospital, and we're praying that one, you know, survives. A little 8-year-old child is in the hospital right now, still in, you know, respiratory care. And we're talking about the Second Amendment. Well, you know, 2 years ago we had 14 of our teachers murdered and another 20-some shot at a Christmas party. Same circumstances. There's no protection in the schools. You know, and we've been saying for years, we should have, you know, the teachers, at least the ones that are willing to go to training and to have a weapon in the classroom to protect the children and themselves.
Yeah.
Now, here's a lady, a teacher, that knew she had a domestic violence problem.
Mm-hmm.
And she had reported it to the police. 2 ex-wives had reported him. This guy was a stick of dynamite waiting for a fuse, you know, to go get lit, and he was it, and something lit him up.
Yeah.
There's a woman that should have had protection. She could have reported it. She had no restraining order against him, nothing, because, you know, in a domestic violence situation, a lot of these people are so scared they don't know what to do. You know, well, I'm telling people what to do. You got a problem, your husband, I don't care who it is threatening to kill you, get a gun.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you carry it. If you know, like she did, that you have someone, like your husband, that has threatened you, which he did, according to her family, then you need to go ahead and really go to get some training. Even if you have to go to Arizona and get training over there with those fellows down there, or, you know, call Zanna and he can hook you up. But I'm saying to all you ladies that are out there, you know what? You're going to die. You know you're going to die.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? Stand there and take the bullets?
Yeah.
Or are you going to go ahead and just say, I'm going to take care of myself. I'm not going to let anybody just shoot me.
At least have a chance.
Especially she knew it.
Yeah.
She knew it.
Exactly. No, this is very
and,
sad.
You know, the family's telling us that.
It breaks my heart for many reasons. First of all, as you said, it's common sense logic. The moment that you create a place that says gun-free zone with a sign, the only people who are going to follow that sign is going to be law-abiding people, like me and you. Okay?
Exactly.
Okay, that's it.
Exactly.
I mean, we are law-abiding people. We follow that because we don't want to get in trouble. But a criminal who is already a criminal, or at least he doesn't care because he's going to already kill somebody, you think how he really cares about is going to get arrested when his final idea is to kill as many people he can or she can, and then, of course, even killing themselves. That's normally what they do. They couldn't care less about that side. So That's my point, exactly. Something must change because, one time it's called an accident or a negligence. Then you repeat the same accident over and over. It becomes a madness. I mean, even the most liberal, whatever, I don't even want to call them liberals because, I think I am liberal. I believe in liberty. The people that out there, they think the government can do and should do everything. They are not liberals. They are fascists because the idea government cannot protect you 24/7. Thank God we don't even want that. But we have the right as human beings, as Americans especially, to protect ourselves. And I like the idea that you have, and also I've been talking about this many times. For example, not every teacher is willing to do that. But I'm sure there are many teachers.
We can't make them.
No,
we don't have to make anybody do anything.
No, we don't want to force anybody. We believe in freedom. But I'm sure if you give them a little extra compensation for their time and you pay for their training, okay? At that point, I think many teachers would like to say, wow, that's a great opportunity to be also responsible, and maybe they would enjoy that, and they will be able to carry a gun responsible and very concealed. Nobody knows at that point in that school who has the gun. That's supposed to be part of the policy. Nobody must display or even announce or share this information. So the bad person who thinks is going to break into this gun-free zone, no more gun-free zone, they don't know where it's coming from. Could be any teacher. Could be even probably the person out there cleaning the bathroom. You never know. If he passes the background check, he passes the training, and, you observe the policy that to keep it really concealed in a safe place always. And remember, the safest place at the end of the day, I always say to my students when we do CCW classes, it is on yourself, because you can leave it, for example, in a drawer. First of all, the drawer must be locked, but when you need it fast, and things happen very fast, somebody break into the school, into your, in the room, you're not going to have the time to go to the safe and start to open it up. I mean, you must have it on you. That would be the safest and the most accessible place. But, I'm pretty impressed, of course, with you. I'm not surprised. I wish more Democrats out there use the same common sense you do. Because that's something, honestly, I don't know. Tell me something. Did you ever talk with any other fellow Democrats in your party, in the Central Committee in San Bernardino about this idea? Because I think this is beyond party lines. This is logic. This is brain. This is about being smart. Tell me the feedback. Did you ever share this proposal to your fellow Democrats? And what reactions?
All right. Well, I'm speaking tomorrow in Sacramento.
Okay.
And I, they hate me up there at the Democratic headquarters, and everybody knows that. But I had 150,000 people that voted for me, and I beat the endorsed candidate.
Yeah.
And my constituents are who I'm speaking for because they believe what I believe. They're kind of average people. They're desert people, our people. And they pretty much say, you know what, when someone looks me in the eye and says, I'm going to kill you, I believe them.
Yeah.
I really believe them. I'm not thinking that they're bluffing. And that's the situation we're dealing with here. He said, I'm going to kill you. And he, meant it. And he did it.
No, I understand. And
now, unfortunately, the children went with them. And then there is the responsibility of the school to protect the teachers and the children. That'll be a couple $1 million easy.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. And that would have paid for armed guards in front of the building.
Yeah. But
that's what I'm saying. They're thinking that they're saving money, or I don't know what they're thinking by not protecting the teachers and students, with armed protection. But they're not saving any money. I mean, the 14 teachers that were murdered and the other 20, I think, too, that were shot and seriously wounded, that is in the hundreds of millions of dollars, range. Yeah. That the taxpayers are going to wind up paying for, when all of this could have been avoided by having armed guards or armed teachers in the schools that would be there when we know these events are going to occur in the future.
Exactly.
We know this is going to happen. Look at our society.
It's true.
We know this is...
Sorry, Ronald. This is exactly the point. You disarm unilaterally law-abiding people, and at the same time, you do not even provide the basic common sense security for the establishment. That's wrong. That's completely like you are just disarming good people. Because, at least, let's say you really want to do gun-free zone. That I don't agree. But at least I think it's your duty to provide, as you were saying, basic safety. that starts with armed guards. That would be the number one thing. You cannot just do, okay, let's remove guns from all the people inside the room. Meanwhile, we leave the door open and there is nobody protecting us. And we hope that the magic sign, gun-free zone sign, is going to do the trick. Everybody's going to stop there. That's really irresponsible. And whoever came out with that idea should be punished. Unfortunately, they will hide behind our tax dollars. They should be stripped of their pension. That's my idea. They should pay for the lawsuit. Go ahead.
Well, all these teachers that are being mowed down with by these nutcases, and I'm not, it's even worse than it, but I can't think of a better word.
Yeah.
There's no savings there.
No.
Because their husbands and their wives and their mothers and their daughters and their children will suffer for the end to the day they die, for the parent that they lost or their brother that they lost or their sister that they lost. Talk about a cost to society. So what are we doing all this for? Society is here to protect each other. Now, I'm looking at the it's, casually mentioned. The following is a rundown of the new laws and how we must comply with changes in the Second Amendment related policies for 2017 and beyond. And I'm just going to hit you with a few.
Go ahead, please.
California, okay. Effective January 1st, 17. Ammunition will only be sold to a person listed in the automated firearm system. This is the background check. An ammunition sales process must be established. Deadline for completion of these regulations is January 1st, 2018. Ammunition vendors must be licensed by January 1st, 2018. Internet sales are prohibited.
Okay, 1 second. Sorry, this is your proposal, or this is something already is going on?
No. This is what laws that are in effect that were passed January 1st of 2000. We've already lost our rights here.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, please continue. I wanted
this
to be sure.
This is what California passed.
Exactly.
This is Assembly Bill 63. I'm reading it to you. How ammunition is displayed will be limited. Effective date is unknown.
Yeah.
Definition of ammunition includes all ammunition. I guess little caps are ammunition now, but it has gunpowder in it. Establishes a crime for a person to provide ammunition to an individual they know or should know is not the actual purchaser.
Wow.
No exceptions or exemptions. Well, how do you know or don't know?
Yeah.
Even that means dealers too, buddy. So if you're a dealer and you sell ammunition and it's used, and you just committed a crime.
Yeah.
A resident bringing ammunition into the state must have it delivered to an ammunition dealer.
Wow.
You can't just bring ammunition into the state if you're a resident. Now, I think an out-of-state person, I don't know. But if you're a resident, you can't go to Arizona and buy ammunition and bring it here unless you take it to a dealer, and then it doesn't say what the dealer does with it.
Yeah.
It requires the Department of Justice to retain data for 2 years in an ammunition purchase records file.
Oh, my gosh.
Local registration of ammunition will not be preempted. Transactions of any ammunition commencing July 1st, 2019 require the ammunition vendor to submit that information directly to the Department of Justice.
Oh my God.
The Department of Justice must maintain registration list of buyers and sellers beginning January 1st, 2018. Only a licensed ammunition vendor may sell ammunition. Ammunition will only be sold only to a person listed in the automated firearm system. This is the background check.
Wow.
In other words, their plan is they know there's existing weapons here in California. They're going to deplete the ability to go ahead and have them get ammunition to use a weapon. A weapon without a bullet is worthless, right?
Yes.
So they're looking at criminalizing anyone that has a gun in the state. But that's what we've already done here.
Yeah.
We've made it a crime punishable by prison, enforced by the Department of Justice, and that's in California's Department of Justice. I don't know if you know that, but we have a DOJ here and a DOJ in D.C. This is California.
Yeah.
Now, so what's it saying to us? This has already been passed. They were so happy to all the libs. Oh, my God, look at this. We're getting guns out of California. No, we're not.
No.
The only ones that will have weapons will be the criminals. they will be able to walk into any store and just say, put a gun right to someone's head and say, here, give me all your cash.
Yeah.
And never have to worry because they don't even have to think twice. We're not allowed to have guns, so we're wide open. And it's, almost like, impossible to believe that the Second Amendment has been effectively destroyed in the state of California. And that's what happened. It's over. We don't have a Second Amendment. It's in name only.
Yes, you're right.
Don't let it happen in Arizona. We may need your help over there.
I understand. This is
this stuff.
I want to remind everybody who's talking here. It's Ronald O'Donnell, who ran successfully in the primaries for the state of California in the Senate race, and he won the primaries against his own, the guy against his own party, and he's a Democrat.
Yeah, I ran against the endorsed candidate.
Yeah.
And I got 150,000 votes. He got about 50.
So that's my point. You represent, in my opinion, the new hope that I think we have, at least, in some part of California, because regardless the party, people understand. They wait a second. Bad guys, they're always going to have guns. And on top, it is our right. I'm so glad, I wish more Democrats out there would listen to you, at least learn what things you're saying, because, all these things that you just read to me, by the way, I already knew part of it, but when you go into details, it really freaked me out. The fact now that the state of California pretty much regulates ammunition. Forget about guns, ammunition. And, forget about the 10 rounds magazine that you already know, high capacity. I call it regular capacity, now they say 10. If you have a magazine with 10 rounds, you're okay. If you have 11 rounds in that magazine, you're going to be a felon. That's the bottom line. Think about a piece of plastic and metal is going to destroy your life. Meanwhile, we know very well that criminals don't care about that. Meanwhile, we know very well that, yes, first of all, it is your right. The Second Amendment never said how many, ammunition or cartridges you can put in your magazine. That's ridiculous. But more important, we know that for real life, when you're under stress, why cops don't have a minimum capacity like 10 rounds or less? They have as many rounds they can put in their magazine. Because under stress, when your life is on the line, you hope you have any extra round you deserve to have. That's the bottom line.
It says it is now illegal to possess what they're calling large-capacity magazines that hold more than 10 rounds.
Yeah, even if your grandfather...
All such magazines must be removed from the state.
Wow.
Sold to a licensed dealer, destroyed, or surrendered to law enforcement by July 1st, 2017.
Oh, my God.
Anyone still in possession on or after July 1st, 2017 will be charged with an infraction punishable by a fine with increasing penalties on each subsequent offense.
Gee, this is serious, man. This is serious.
So now if you have over 10 rounds, you're a criminal here.
Yeah, just because you have a piece of plastic.
You'll get a fine the first time. The second time, you're going to move it on up to from probably a misdemeanor to a felony.
Yeah.
But you're on the record if you're caught with over 10 round magazine. So then they have another law on loaning of firearms and one on reporting of lost and stolen guns, because some people just say, well, I lost it. Well, they're saying, hey, you have a certain time period to find it. Personal firearm serial numbers. Of course, they want you to have your serial number on the personal firearm.
Yeah.
And then they have a definition for assault weapon. It's now defined as any semi-automatic center-fire rifle that does not have a fixed magazine and does have one or more of these attributes: a pistol grip that protrudes conspicuously beneath the action of the weapon, dunderhole stock, folding telescoping stock, grenade flare launchers, blast suppressors, or a forward pistol grip. Any Californian that possesses one of these firearms within the time period of January 1st, 2001, they're going back, to December 31st, 2016, must register that weapon as a California assault weapon with the Department of Justice by January 1st, 2018.
Well,
so they're retroactively going back, and they're not grandfathering in anything. In other words, well, my great-grandfather left me this weapon,
Exactly.
Well, we don't care.
They don't even give you compensation. I mean, think about you have already property, okay? In this case, let's say the magazine. They call it high-capacity magazine. I call it pretty much standard capacity because, for example, a Glock, like a Glock 17, comes normally out of the factory with a magazine of 17 rounds. Okay, that's the way it is.
Yep.
Now, if I bought a gun, if I bought that magazine years ago before this law was effective, now they tell me that I must destroy my property without even a compensation. That's, for me, it's against any type of principles of freedom and property ownership. I mean, government can tell me, you know what, I don't like your property, now you burn it, and I don't even give you compensation. That's tyranny. Simple as that.
Yeah, and just on a sidebar here, the guy that just went in and shot his wife and the two kids, he came in with a .45. He actually unloaded it, on these people, and then he took the time to reload, and he fired it again, because it was a gun-free zone after all.
Yeah.
And he knew, he had time to unload, reload,
Exactly. I mean, honestly, we can do, if you're trained, you can do an emergency reload in less than 1.5 seconds. It's nothing. So the point is really, but of course you must be trained, but the point is it's ridiculous, the fact that they have this mindset in Sacramento. They don't even know what they're talking about. It is just an excuse to find every day, day after day, another way to destroy the Second Amendment, as you were saying. Now, is it possible that after already all this time, we're talking about more than 48 hours, I mean, we don't even have an identity of this shooter?
Well, no, they finally came out today with the identity and the photographs.
Okay, who is it?
And it was what I suspected. It was exactly what I suspected.
Give us, because I have no idea.
The lady's name is Karen Smith.
Let me write it down, okay.
And her husband was Anderson. I believe it was Jamil, but I'll have to check the first name. But I just remembered Anderson, and I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, they're married, yet they're using separate last names.
Yeah.
So that means she was estranged, and she went and she's using her, her real name, if you will.
We have a photo now, finally? We have a photo? Okay, I see now. I see.
Oh, yeah, the photo came out. It was on the news today, so I can talk about it.
Okay. I see.
But, I told you I'm going up on Wednesday or tomorrow to speak. Today's Wednesday, sorry. Yeah. Thursday to speak in front of the Sacramento Democrats. And I'm running for California State Party vice chair.
Okay.
Yeah. And I know that I shouldn't say this, but I probably won't get elected. I shouldn't say that.
Oh, it doesn't matter. But, you try, man. You're doing great. So far, you did a great job.
But I got a chance to speak.
Yeah. Exactly.
And do you want to hear how I'm going to open? I don't get a lot of time to speak.
Go ahead, please.
But you know how I'm going to open?
Yeah.
This is how I'm going to open. I mean, I've been thinking about it for a few days. How do I be effective in a few moments? They don't let you speak a long time.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say, look, to the audience, can I kind of get your participation here? My name's Ronald O'Donnell, and I just have one question for you. I'm going to say a statement, and anyone that agrees with it, please raise your hand. Here we go. The Democrats, all nationally are known for this. What do we want? Dead cops. When do we want them? Now. Now, can I see a raise of hands of who wants dead cops in this room? Will you please raise your hand right now? Embarrass the hell out of them.
Wow.
That's the way I'm open.
Please, I hope you can. Anybody's coming with you with a video camera? Do you have any friend or family member coming with you with a video camera?
No, I wish you'd come. I know. That'd be great.
I wish that too. Unfortunately, it kind of, for me, a little far away, and I'm kind of allergic to crossing the border there, especially with the people. But I would love that. I would love that, especially to see what type of reaction you have. But
I'm going to do it. But I'll try to get someone to film.
Yeah, get somebody to film.
I think I might have someone.
Worst case scenario.
I'm just going to stand and say, would you please raise your hand?
Yes.
Because you're breaking windows, you're starting fires, you're doing riots, you're screaming for the death of cops, and the Democratic Party's been ascribed to that.
Yeah.
But how many in this room actually mean it?
Yeah.
Raise your hand.
Wow.
Oh, you just do that with mask on.
Wow.
You get dressed up like a ninja and you go out there and raise hell and shoot cops. He shot 5 in Dallas. He shot 3 and killed them. They shot 11 in Dallas. Only 5 died. They shot 3 in Baton Rouge, 6 in New York are dead. You know, I don't know how many instances in California, but I'll have my numbers when I get there tomorrow.
Well,
and I know there's been California police officers shot eating their lunch.
Wow.
Well, who here in the Democratic Party supports this kind of criminal conduct? I just want you to identify yourselves here.
Yeah.
So we know, and please get up and say your name.
I also find out, and I want to double check with you, at least I was reading that according to the legislators in Sacramento, all these laws that they just passed now, gun restriction, gun control laws in the state, they are not somehow applying to them, the legislators. Did you read that? Or am I just because?
Yeah, well, that's why I want to win. I'm running for United States Congress, so I can go ahead and carry here.
This is insane. I mean, the masters have done all these gun restrictions to the law-abiding people, the working men, working women, the regular slaves like us. But for them, they can get every gun they want. They can have a high-capacity magazine. They can do whatever they want. This is, for me, the definition of tyranny. It's like, we have now no one king, but we have many kings. And, of course, we also have let's say the show. It's at the end of the day, is a show. When you're part of the machine, it's pretty easy to get elected and reelected when you control, you are part into the party system machine. If you play game, they will let you win. Anyway, listen, I want to thank you very much. Anyway, people can contact you and support you, because I always believe, you're doing a great job, but you need always the support of the people out there from California, wherever they're from. Give them a chance to support you. What is the way they can contact you?
Right. I set up a website. It's O'Donnell for California, with 4, the number 4. Okay. O'Donnell for California.
Okay.
There's no apostrophe on O'Donnell, because even though that's how I spell my name, the computer won't accept it. So it's O'Donnell, the number 4.
Okay.
California. Everybody knows how to spell that. And if you can go onto that site, you'll hopefully be able to have the video from tomorrow on there.
All right, perfect.
And I have already an existing, site started.
And do me a favor, send me the link. Send me the link of the site after we finish this conversation on Facebook. So I'm going to post it out myself as you have everything done, okay?
Okay, and I'm going to have this, California, Gun Owners of California form that I was reading from posted on there, so you people can see we do not have a Second Amendment.
No.
It's not that we're going to lose our Second Amendment rights. They're gone.
Yeah.
The only one that have any Second Amendment rights in California now are the criminals.
Yeah, it's true.
Because they don't follow the law anyway. So,
exactly.
That's why they're criminals.
And the government, pretty much, that enable the criminals. That's the point. The government, they have their right. That's true. Wow, listen.
And I'm going to let them know. I'm going to let them know tomorrow up there what they did, and ask them.
Mm-hmm.
If I've already caught hell for this, but I'm going to do it again.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask him, is it really, really more important that we have transsexual bathrooms than a Second Amendment?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Because, your priorities here in Sacramento.
Yeah.
All the news is about, transgender bathrooms and believe me, I believe that we should have a separate bathroom, but I don't believe that men should be able to go and watch little girls pee.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because they can't make up their mind what sex they are today.
Yeah.
That's what's important to these people in Sacramento.
You're right.
But the people that actually have to live through it, the 150,000 people that voted for me, they don't want it.
Yeah. Listen, Ronald, I want to thank you very much. You're an inspiration. As I said, you break exactly these divisions between party lines. It shows that it's no more about parties, it's about people. Because, we've been screwed from every issue. Every party is always...
Every angle.
Yeah, so we have to look now at the man, at the human being, at the woman, the person out there. We use as, first of all, common sense, and more important, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. That's it. Listen, Ronald, keep me posted, okay? I'll talk to you next week, all right?
Okay, and listen, to tell everybody out there in beautiful Arizona, I love you people. You guys are I wished you were here so you could vote for me, but, you know, you won't be able to come here if you have a gun, so stay there.
All right. Okay, listen. Okay, guys, you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. We'll look at Zanna, a little break, then we continue with more news. I got some exciting things about coming classes. We have a free gun safety class coming, more Arizona concealed carry permit classes, a lot of good stuff. Do not go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. Ciao.
Don't tread on us.
Do you want social justice? Now I give you social justice.
The Zanna way.
Don't trade on us, the Freedom Rifle by Zanna. The most affordable military-grade semi-automatic AR-15 rifle in M4 configuration, chambered in .223 Wild that can shoot both 5.56 NATO and .223 Remington. 4 minutes of angle for just $499, made in the USA. Get your Freedom Rifle now. We need every law-abiding American armed with knowledge and at least one military rifle ready to defend good against evil. With every Don't Tread on Us rifle, you will get free parchment replica of the United States Constitution, free digital CD, Don't Tread on Us, free ebook, How to Become a Rifleman, free t-shirt, Slaves Are Never Armed, I Am Not a Slave, free 30 rounds magazine where allowed by the law, free laser engraved ejection port, Don't Trade on Us, for just $499. Go to www.freedomrifle.com, www.freedomrifle.com. Get your Freedom Rifle now.
Here we are back into the studio. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and also, of course, on United States.FM network. We were having before Mr. Ronald O'Donnell. I wish him the best, seriously. I wish every Democrat would be like him. Like I wish every Republican would be like him. I don't mean just in policies or beliefs, because there is always something we may disagree. That's not the point. The point, though, is about integrity. Even when we disagree, at least, first of all, he doesn't follow the party. That's the beautiful thing. He follows his heart. He follows his convictions. That's the most important thing for me. And, of course, he understands the Second Amendment. Maybe sometimes we have even there a little variation the way we look at this, but at least he understands that is a right. Okay? That's the bottom line. Now, talking about right, I'm trying to do my best to share this right, and more important, to do it and to exercise responsibly. I do offer free gun safety classes in Mohave County. Yes. When I say free, means really free. Because at the end, this is not like a government where they say, it's free. Somebody else is paying against their will. Here, normally when we say free in the private industry, means that, there are sponsors involved, or maybe they're just an act of love in this case, but still somebody's going to pay, but you're not going to pay. That's the bottom line. It's truly free. So anyway, the class is exactly this coming Saturday, and I can tell you exactly when, the 22nd of April at 10 a.m. in the morning, or 10 p.m. Oh my God, 10 a.m. I'm sorry, I put 10 p.m. I need to correct that. 10 a.m. in the morning. Anyway, it is exactly in Kingman at On Target Enterprise. Okay, and what is about this class? It is something that you don't need to have a gun or to own a gun or even like guns to attend this class. It is a class that could be helpful for everybody, that tomorrow you could be somehow come in contact with a handgun or with a firearm, with a shotgun, with anything. It's called a free gun safety class. So let's look at this first of all. The location, it's On Target Enterprise, LLC, 2747 Ashford Avenue, Kingman, Arizona. That's the place. It's very central in Kingman, close to Route 66. The class starts at 10 a.m. and finish around 1 p.m. And around means that we may even be longer if we have to. Okay? The purpose of this class is to share the knowledge in how to be safer gun owner, or if you come in contact with a firearm, to be able to handle it safely. The class is for everybody, especially for people who do not have guns and may not be familiar with guns. Who is the instructor? Of course, it's me. when I say, of course, I'm not trying to be cocky, arrogant. Okay, this is my idea, and I am pretty much volunteering because I don't get paid for this one. Okay, my time is pretty much I give it. Okay, but this class is being sponsored by On Target Enterprise. They are the one offering the place, the facility. So that's very nice. So we collaborate together. Okay. So what do we do here? Let's start to talk about the curriculum. First of all, we offer, we go through all the gun safety rules, the basics and beyond, much beyond. Okay. Then we go to shooting range rules and verbal commands. If you ever go to a range, you must know the rules. I mean, every range may have different variations, but there's some fundamental rules that you should know. And also some verbal commands. They may help you also, when you go there to understand what's going on. Now, how to safely store any firearm. Yes, you may have firearms. You need to learn how to safely store them. I mean, that's very important. You don't want to be sure that, somebody can get them without your permission or maybe anything. It can be stolen. No, also how to safely carry any firearm. Even this is not a concealed carry class, still, if you want to carry this firearm, even from point A to point B, you need to know how to do it. Even if you to carry, for example, from the shooting range, the firing line to the car, you want to know how to do it. Even if you carry the gun, of course, on you want to know how to do it. So it's something important. Of course, how to safely handle any firearm. Let's say you come in contact with a firearm. You don't know, of course, who is the owner, and you want to make that firearm safe. What means safe? Means that you have the chamber empty, no magazine or any type of extra rounds into the gun, slide locked, in case it's a semi-automatic, and you have safety on, and of course you have the muzzle in a safe direction. So that's very important. And when I talk about this type of condition, about every gun, could be a shotgun, could be a rifle, could be, as I said, a bolt action or semi-automatic like an AR-15. I bring all those guns, handgun, revolver, it doesn't matter. Okay? So that's very important. Then we go through how to safely unload and also load any firearm. But mostly we will focus into the process of unloading. Because let's say you got in contact with this gun and you need to unload it. You want to be sure you know how to unload it safely. I heard a story a few years ago that in California, I think it was in California, yes, in a school, a young man, brought to class a gun. Of course, without parent consent, Very sad, tragic event. First of all, of course, that's why you want to safely storage the firearms. Children should not have access. But the sad thing was that the child brought the gun, brought the gun to the school. The teacher, of course, freaked out. Unfortunately, the teacher had no knowledge about gun safety. So what happened? She grabbed the gun from the child, and that was okay. But then she removed the magazine. There was a semi-automatic, thinking that doing that, the gun was empty. Then she gives the gun to another child, of course, very responsible there too, without checking the chamber. So she thought that the gun was empty, unloaded. Unfortunately, the poor child, who was holding the gun, had no idea, and of course he didn't even have basic concept of the safety rules, like always keep the muzzle in a safe direction, always keep the finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Unfortunately, the muzzle was in the wrong direction, on somebody else, and the finger was on the trigger, and we had a discharge, and a child died. So think about that. All that could have been prevented if the teacher had the basic knowledge on how to check the chamber of the gun, how to make the gun safe, and that would be right there a life saved. Think about it. That's all I'm saying. This is the purpose of this class. Even if you hate guns, that's fine. But let's say if you ever come in contact with a gun, and I bring many guns to this class. I bring, as I said, from 1911, Glocks, revolvers, shotgun, rifles, everything we have on the market pretty much. So at least I want you to learn the basics. And that accident, that is not an accident, unfortunately, is a negligence, but still, the teacher, after all, she can say, I have no guns. I hate guns, and that's fine, but this is something, that can happen at school. I wish school would provide that service to teach teachers, at least this basic. And by the way, I'm offering free to all the school in the district. I already contacted the Havasu school district. I don't know if they're going to accept it or not, but I know there's a lot of politics, unfortunately. There are some part of the board of the members that like it. I know the chairwoman. Personally, she liked the idea, but, it is not just up to her. But my point is, think about it. Teachers, or even people working in schools, I think, especially because we know guns, they are brought to school. And I don't care how many signs you want to put gun-free zone. There is always somebody who will bring a gun to school. So I think the best way we can do, at least learn how to be safe with guns. That's the idea. So anyway, continue the class. We'll go through how to safely also clean any firearm. Believe it or not, there's a lot of things you can do unsafe during cleaning process. The first unsafe thing, to have ammunition in the room. Or more important also, do not even check the condition of your gun. And people say, are you crazy? No, come on, nobody does that. Yes, unfortunately, there's always somebody out there that does that. For example, a few months ago, in the Kingman Daily Miner, there was a gentleman in Kingman who shot himself, thankfully without dying, while he was cleaning his gun. I mean, how many violations did we have there? Think about it. Starting from, first of all, never really, let's start with checking the condition of the gun. You should always start from the chamber. And then, of course, you double check, more important, chamber check, remove the magazine, and chamber check again. So if you do that systematically, religiously, you're going to know that the gun is going to be empty. Second thing, when you clean a gun, you never want to have ammunition in the room, ever. That's very important. So that's the bottom line. And of course, really, why yet to, even if I'm cleaning the gun, I still treat the gun like it's loaded. Unless it's completely disassembled, that the barrel is out, I never point that muzzle towards any part of my body that pretty much could be compromising. So always keep the muzzle in a safe direction. But the gun is empty. I don't care. The only reason why I will put a muzzle somehow in front of my eyes or my face when the muzzle is out of the gun and I'm cleaning it, completely disassembled. That's it. So that's the mindset we must have. Then basic hygiene while landing on shooting, handling, shooting any firearm. Yes, the hygiene is important too. Because believe it or not, there is lead. And, especially if you go there many times to the range, you can bring this lead home. You can bring lead in your system. So it's something to really be careful. So anyway, we have also questions and answers, and it's free. So if you want to come to this class, I invite you. Call also if you want to call on target 928-753-4314. 928-753-4314 on target Enterprise in Kingman, Arizona. Come, class is free, the free gun safety class. Don't forget, when you go on target, you can also find Zanna Coffee. You can find, of course, the Don't Tread on Us rifle that I'm really glad now we have this distribution in Kingman. And of course, the smoke grenade, the EG-18X, okay, military smoke grenades. So I really hope you can get this opportunity. And if you want to write it down, the 29th of this month, the week after we do the free gun safety class, also on target, we will have the concealed carry weapon class, the CCW class for the state of Arizona. So it's a great opportunity. And I remind you, if you're a single mom, and when I say single mom, I mean a mom that, you still have children living with you at home. Not if you're like, I don't know, 7-year-old lady and you know, that's not single mom, okay? Please understand what I'm trying to do here. Okay, so anyway, single mom, I want you to have that opportunity for free. I have limited seats, of course. So anyway, that's the story, my friends. You know, I'm trying to do my best, you know. And as I said, I'm not a perfect person. I may do things that sometimes, you know, hey, look at you kind of rude, or sometimes you say things that you think without filters. I'm sorry. I'm a human being. At the same time, I try to do my best. Okay, this is what I try to do. Everybody has their mission. Sometimes people go to churches and try to help the poor, go to the hospital, go to Africa. I want to go to the ranges and to the American people, help them out to be better gun owners, to be safer gun owners. And I believe in this way we can keep freedom, we can keep our freedom of speech, and we can keep, more important, also our safety. Okay. Now, a little news. You know, a controversial concept of carrying a gun. Some people, for example, say, oh, do not carry the gun, especially if it's a semi-automatic we are talking about, with a round in the chamber. Well, let me tell you something. You know, also many lawyers say that, okay? Because after all, for liability, you know, you can make a mistake. You know, the first round is in the chamber, you're hot. Well, if you have that problem, maybe you shouldn't carry a gun. If you think that carrying a gun, you know, with a round in the chamber can be a danger, well, maybe you should carry something else, carry a rock. My point is, you must be responsible and trained. But when you carry a gun with a round not in the chamber, you may have tragic situations happen. For example, there is a video. Father and son perish while dad struggles to chamber his empty carry weapon. There's a video you can watch. I may post it also on lovegunsfreedom.com. You know, that's extra half second can make the difference between living and die. That's the bottom line. You know, I said train with a round in the chamber. And people say, you know, I don't feel comfortable. Okay, then train before you carry a gun. Because to have the round in the chamber, when the attack starts, it's not going to be something like you have extra seconds. Time can be a split of a second. Less than 2 seconds could be already too much. So my point is that extra split of a second may be a complete difference between death and life. And I want you to watch this video. You can also just put it on YouTube. Father and son perish while dad struggles to chamber his empty carry weapon. It is very sad. It is very sad. That's all I can say. I mean, it is a 3 minutes video. You can see pretty much explaining how all this happened. You know, could have been avoided. That's why training is important. Training is important. Under stress, don't you think that you're going to do better? You may do. No, you may do. Normally you do 50% less what people may do. That's the reality. So another important thing I want to say with you guys, you know, don't think now because Trump is in office, we are going to sleep when it comes down to the Second Amendment. Things are still out there. Yes, there has been some good. I think the new Supreme Justice gives us hope to retain or also to fight back anything that's going to come after us. I don't think Trump is going to go with the same agenda of Hillary on that issue. I pray not. You know, there will be really something completely unbelievable. But remember, he changed 180 degrees on many issues. Like, for example, the Syria. I mean, that's 180 degrees change. Some of these policies, like even with DACA, you know, with the immigration, that's completely, hey, sorry, change my mind. So don't ever let your guards down. So now prices are good. Ammunition's prices are decent. Okay? Guns are good. Whatever you need, get it now. Do not waste time. Do not waste time. Okay? Because things may change overnight. I mean, remember, if we go to war, like we are pretty much very close, I mean, we got 50,000 soldiers deployed right now while I'm talking to Syria, at least they are ready to go. This is according to the news. And he said we're never going to put boots on the ground. Guess what? Now we got boots coming. What if we have a retaliation? What if we have like a false flag or even just a real attack on U.S. soil? It doesn't need to be invasion. It could be just a biological attack. I mean, a nuclear attack. We go to martial law like overnight. You think under martial law you're going to be able to buy guns or to buy ammunition? All the books, all the executive orders that they were prepared before by the Bush administration, the Obama administration, they're going to be all activated. So, buy now. It's a good time. And I remind you, if you want to buy, by the way, right now, if you are also in other states, I can send you directly to your FFL dealer. They don't trade on us. The package, the upper, the lower, that you can assemble together, have the complete Freedom rifle. They don't trade on us for just $499. If you're in a state, of course, you can buy that. So I invite you now to buy whatever you need. Always say, don't focus just on handguns. The handguns, they're okay. You don't need many handguns. The handguns is the tool that you will fight the way to the rifle. Focus on the rifle. Every member of your family should have at least one rifle with spare parts, know how to use it, plenty ammunition, and magazines, extra magazines. Now the magazines, they're cheap. You can buy like an AR-15 magazines for $9, and the good quality too. So get it now.
In this world where everything seems to be going sideways, when you need things set straight, Zanna Coffee Straight Shot Espresso. Start your day with a bang. The best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade, certified, sustainable, organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Don't be cheap. You deserve the best. Get Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on United States.fm network.
Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time, getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit FreedomLovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. FreedomLovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really click.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom on KTOX 1340 AM and also on 104.1.FM. I forget always, this is a new station that also is, broadcasting. By the way, this is the hour of love. And you listen, of course, to Love, Guns, and Freedom, the final hour. And I tell you something about this hour. More I been broadcasting the last 3 years, and so more I really understand why this hour is important. Because we can talk about many things. We can talk about, rights. We can talk about laws. We can talk about our corrupted politicians. They're ripping us off. And all these things. And they're all very important, don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, we are human beings. the end of the day, as I said many times, without love, there is nothing. And, in this hour, I touch love in different ways. Sometimes I do serenades, sometimes I share erotic poems, sometimes we have the single of the days. But at the end, what is about? It's about to remind us that we are here for a limited time on this planet, and we're all human beings. And it would be nice to help each other. Sometimes, you can help somebody just to make him happy. Okay, just maybe, I don't know, prepare a nice meal, good meal. Maybe just to say, hey, you need help, I can help you today. Maybe I'm in this situation, I can do it. So that's the spirit also of the show. Even we got very aggressive, very serious about our rights. By the end, I say, guys, let's help each other. Now, this hour also, I've been touching many times a topic that I learned thanks to this show, and it's called targeted individuals. Many people say, well, what is this again? Okay, listen, guys, this is not the time I'm going to explain too much, but I had many guests on the past that you can Google it. What really is a program, is a government program, not just of this government, it's around the world, to pretty much control people's mind. And they've been doing this with the declassified documents in the 70s, talking about, the CIA program like the MK Ultra. That was almost old-fashioned, low-tech technology compared to what they have today. But this is not even the main goal. What I want to bring you right now, it's a lady, she's a lady, who lives in San Antonio, Texas, and she reached me out through listening to one of my shows. And, that's beautiful. This is a local show, but I like to see that there are people from other parts of the states listening. And she said, you know what, Luca, I'm in a mess. And now, of course, she will talk for her. And she wants some help, as simple as that. And what can I say? This is exactly why I bring her here on the air. Maybe you could be a person that could understand what she's going through. And maybe you, as another human being, doesn't matter if you're in America or any other part of the world, I don't know. Maybe you can help each other. Okay, so that's the spirit of the show, okay? I'm not trying to put out a date here. I'm just trying to say there is a human being who needs some help. And maybe let's listen to what she has to say. And regardless, maybe, you can just understand. Maybe you can sympathize with her. Maybe you can reach her out through Facebook. Maybe you have a new friend. And that would be a good start. So, Lindsay from San Antonio, Texas. Are you there?
Yes. Hello. This is Lindsay.
Nice to meet you,
in San Antonio, Texas.
Perfect. Tell me a little bit about your story. I know that you have, by the way, a little, premise. I don't know. I cannot verify everything you say, okay? I let you talk, of course, but I always say there is a lot of truth out there. Like, unfortunately, I cannot verify everything, but I'll give you the microphone and I'll let the listeners, judge everything. Tell me about your story. What's going on? Why you're so in such a situation? What happened to you?
Well, my situation starts with what I have is a counterfeit birth certificate, an original birth certificate, which I found out that later in life that I was adopted, that I'm one of what they call late discover adoptee. And so I kind of figured after realizing that after always suspecting that something was not right in my life, kind of having the feeling that the family who raised me were not really my biological family. They weren't, that I wasn't related to them by blood, because I was always treated differently and felt like an outcast and singled out, and just things did not add up. And so, as it turns out, yes, I do have a fraudulent birth certificate. I've been able to get documents that pretty much back up the fact that I am adopted.
Yeah.
And so I've been on a quest for the past several years trying to find out who my biological parents are. And I'm actually from Houston. That's where I spent most of my life. I also lived in Bolivia as an exchange student while I was in high school, and I lived in Austin, where I lived in New Mexico. Went to school there for a while, then I transferred to UT Austin. And a lot of my problems started in Austin, Texas, when I was a student at University of Texas. That's where a lot of my targeting began. I noticed that after I met a certain individual in 1996 or 1997, that pretty much my life changed overnight after this certain individual, an elderly man, encountered me in Austin at a Luby's cafeteria when I was a student at UT.
Wow.
So I've been able to kind of do a timeline of my life, and it seems like a lot of my severe targeting started with that, but I think that it all links back to my having a fake birth certificate, and I think that it has something to do that it just is all, it's all kind of related. It's all, it all, there's like a timeline. It's not really, I don't feel like it's a coincidence that all these weird things have happened in my life. And there's definitely certain people who have come into my life who have had an impact, and it's like, well, I don't even know where my story is just very convoluted.
Let me ask you a couple of questions. First of all, I look at your photos. You look like a good-looking lady. When you were younger, I'm sure also more good-looking. My point is, you were a single person out there. Did you have any family support when this individual met you? Because one thing I noticed normally in these target individuals' experiences, at least the one I've been talking to, normally they have two things in common. They are good-looking ladies or women, young women most of the time, and they really don't have any family support. Mostly they are pretty much by themselves. They are alone. Maybe their families are broken down or stuff like that. What was your story? How this person contact you? And more important, you were really in a situation that pretty much you were by yourself, or you had a family behind to support you a little bit?
Well, no, I was in school. I was living in Austin at the time with a roommate. And I didn't have any family living there. I've never been close to anybody in the family who I was raised by, except for my paternal grandparents for the most part. I was somewhat close with them. But so no, I was alone at the time. Actually, I was involved in a relationship when I met this man, and I think that this man, he told me that he was former military. He was CIA. He told me he had worked in the intelligence, CIA. He told me that he had been an accident investigator and that he was looking for me. He said, I'm here because I need to keep an eye on you, or you're going to be under surveillance. And, I've been looking for you for a long time. I'm glad I finally met you. And he knew everything about me. He started telling me things about my life that I have no idea how he knew these things. And I was at the time about 22 years old, when I met him, around 22 or 23. And yes, of course, back then I was more naive. I was just naive, somewhat, very trusting, very, more of a carefree type person, but very, very honest. I've always been the type of person who's too trusting towards people, and I usually end up getting
screwed,
taken advantage of because of that, my trusting nature. But I've learned over the years through experience and through trial and error that you cannot be that way, because there's a lot of predatory people.
I have a question about this older guy. How long he's been around you? I mean, you met him when you were 22. He tells you somehow this story that, of course, you could not really verify because, unless you have connections, it's hard to verify this information. But really, what he said, according to what you're telling me, he wanted to keep an eye on you. Did you ask him maybe why? Why am I so special?
I have a feeling that he had told me there was a man who I was involved with dating at the time who was a Mexican man who was actually he was a quote unquote illegal immigrant from Monterrey, Mexico.
Yes.
I don't know if I should if I should say names of people or not. I don't know if that's relevant. If I should be doing that.
Can be anybody. Who cares? That's fine.
But nonetheless, it was a man who I was kind of involved with, who I had met in Austin, and this man was actually. He told me, and I would take him. I was a regular at this Luby's cafeteria, the original one on Burnett Street in Austin, because I was a vegetarian. I've pretty much been a vegetarian my entire life, and I had a little routine where I'd go to the cafeteria and eat a vegetable plate. My vegetable plate, it was like something that I was accustomed to doing. And this man was also a regular at the cafeteria, this elderly man.
Okay.
And so he said he had been watching me. I would sometimes bring that fella I was dating with me. And he said that this man is dangerous. He's going to try to kill you.
Wow. And
you better look out because he's dangerous. As it turns out, that man who I was dating, did in fact have some issues with he actually tried to kill me. He got violent with me. He tried to strangle me one time in my apartment, efficiency apartment. And so he also had issues with illegal drugs, and he worked construction on the construction. He was a construction worker, and he told me that he was watching when I was a student at UT. This man who I was dating would stalk me. Like he said, he wanted to know everything that I was doing all the time. He said, "Well, I've been he didn't speak any English. I spoke Spanish." But he said, "I'm watching you, and you better watch out because who are you talking to?" He started to get really possessive and controlling over me, and I was too enamored at the time because I guess, at the time I was younger, more naive, and I kind of was not aware that people could be so violent or controlling in relationships because I had never really experienced that with anyone prior to this man I was dating.
Yeah.
And so this old man who I met at the cafeteria said, I'm glad I found you because I know everything about you. You're going to be under surveillance, and this man who you're going out with is going to try to kill you, and I'm going to protect you, and that, and the other.
One thing seems like this old guy was right. Somehow you already knew about this date that you have this, illegal alien guy. And he was right that this guy was violent. So now my point, beside, I don't believe the government start to put all this attention on one citizen. They normally don't give a crap about us.
No,
okay?
I know.
Now
I
what?
know.
The Secret Services, they go after to try to protect you. I mean, normally they say, sort it out. They don't do that. My question is, these older men, did he ever try to have any, let's say, sexual or romantic advances?
Well, he kind of did. That's the thing is he wanted me, he tried to invite me a few times to a fancy restaurant that was in Austin, like up in the hills. I said, no, that's okay. He one time invited me to his home in the West Lake, Austin area, and I did go. I followed him there in my own vehicle, and we just talked. He showed me a lot of his, we did nothing. I mean, he didn't even try to do anything with me physically, and nonetheless, I would not have allowed that because I'm not, he was a lonely old man who his wife had died, and he told me that he was lonely and he was ready to join his wife in heaven. I mean, he was 92 years old.
How old?
Time.
One second.
How
old?
92.
Oh my gosh.
92, I think.
He was old. I don't think the CIA, I mean, don't get me wrong, they may have somehow people working for them no matter what age. But it sounds like a little bit maybe a retired guy. Now, my question is, so you had this experience with this man. He warned you about this, your boyfriend. Now, exactly after this encounter, how your life started to change? Because, everybody in the target individual world has some sort of experience. They start to realize pretty much soon something's not right. What happened to you?
Because as soon as I met that man, all of a sudden I noticed after he and I became friends, after he befriended me and we became, acquaintances, because then all of a sudden I noticed that I started getting followed everywhere. I was getting followed around by white Suburbans.
Yeah.
It's like I was under surveillance. I could tell that I was being monitored. I could sense that I was being followed, and I just know that people were kind of like really, kind of stalking me, and then I ended up signing. I had graduated college, and I couldn't find a job. I wanted to stay in Austin, and so I was desperate to look to not have to go back to Houston. So I started answering some ads in the Austin Chronicle, in the back of the Austin Chronicle, and a couple of these jobs were like entertainment type jobs where, one of them was, nonetheless, I ended up going to some of these little casting call things or whatever you call it, and they filmed me. I was manipulated into signing some release forms.
What type of film did you do? Like, was it erotic movies, porn? What did you do?
No.
Modeling?
One of them was nothing like that. One of them was, one of them actually was something that was kind of artistic, somewhat like artistic body paint.
Okay.
Somewhat, that, and then that man filmed me.
I like body
and
paint.
And then another one was like they were going to follow you around when you went out on dates with it. They wanted to follow you and record your going out on dates.
Okay,
and so they interviewed me.
Yeah, like
and
a
then
TV show.
they had me sign a release form. And then after that, I started getting stalked. Like everywhere I go, I was getting severely stalked in public. Like I couldn't go anywhere without like a bunch of people following me around or, wanting. It was just bizarre. It's like overnight it's like my life became somebody else's.
Wow.
And I felt like I hated it. I hated the feeling. It felt like I was being invaded. I felt like my privacy had been encroached upon. It was humiliating because I did not like, and then I was immediately started to regret ever having signed those release forms and anything because I just felt like, what did I, oh God, what did I sign? I didn't have copies of it, but I just felt like, and the people who did it were I remember the people who I went to the little interview thing for were military. They were involved with the military, and I remember the names of the people.
So it wasn't just some entertainment company trying to do like a reality TV show. This was something almost like you signed a release to maybe the government to let them do exactly what they've been doing to you. Wow.
Exactly, because I remember the names of there were two women, and there was like a couple of guys, and they filmed me for about an hour while they interviewed me. I had my parrot with me I used to train birds, and I had a conure at the time, and I believe at that time my hair was dyed black, which is not my natural hair color, but I remember clearly that I had on a yellow dress, and I had my parrot with me in my black dyed hair, and they were interviewing me and just having they just thought it was, they were getting a kick out of it. It was very amusing for them because I was entertaining them, really trying, but somehow I was. And they were military. The people involved who were filming me were military. I signed a release form, and I remember that I was so excited about that I was gonna, that I didn't even think about what I was signing. I didn't get copies of it, but I remember that it said something about being followed around with video cameras while you go out on dates, and then my image was going to be used. And this was in 1998, I believe, or 1999 that I...
Wow. That was 19 years ago.
So
question.
Yep. And then ever since then, I tried for several years to get legal help to try to get that revoked. I tried to track these people down to no avail. And it's like ever since then, it's like my life became someone else's. And I feel like every job I've had ever since then, it's like I feel like I've been set up. I feel like I've been exploited. I feel like I've been underpaid and kind of taken advantage of by some of these people. And it's like it all goes back to, it's like I feel like I can, like I said, I can do a timeline of the events, and it all sort of is connected.
Lindsay, I have a question. Did they at least ever pay you? Normally when you have a contract, there is an exchange of things. Okay, I'm going to do a video with you or take a photo and I give you something in exchange. Could be money or whatever. No. Nothing. So you did
They
it for
did
free.
not pay me anything. Nothing. Wow. Not a thing.
But I would like to say something to the listeners. Sometimes all these things may say, oh my God, this is crazy stuff. What are you talking about? Let me tell you something, guys. There have been many programs that they've been run by psychologists, psychiatrists, sociologists. They do this in the different governments, not just in America, all over the world, at least some governments. They want to study human behavior, pretty much how much a human can hold without going crazy, how much they can push your limits, how much they can change your behavior through fears, through, let's say, good things, bad things, different things happen to you. They see how you react. Why they're doing that? Guess what? They can be used also for military situation, but more important, they can be used to how to control a population. That's a fact. So this is not I don't know exactly all the details, but I wouldn't be surprised this is true. Because I'm telling you, it seems like exactly out of the book. You fall in that category. You are a good-looking lady, alone, with no family support, and somehow they look for targets like that. And then there is always the encounter with a special person that normally is the person, the connection, the handler, whatever you want to call it. And then out of the blue, and then the life starts to change. And then they start to mess with your mind. And then they start to see, they want to start, first of all, make you even more isolated. And more important, they want to destroy also your professional life. Because it's difficult, to have a life when you have not a job or no money. So you really go into different realms of depth and even sadness that can create different behaviors. Now, let's talk about good stuff. This is a little bit about your background. You want to get out of San Antonio, right?
Yes, because I've been here for a year. This situation was basically, I was sort of manipulated into this whole situation, and I almost feel like I'm living in a like involuntary commitment type, situation where the woman who raised me as my mother, who I suspect is not my biological mother, when she found out about that man who I was talking about earlier, who I met in Austin, the elderly man, she threw a fit, started forcing me to see psychiatrists, tried to get me on I was on and off medications my entire life.
Wow.
It's like she knew something about that, and she got angry with me. She punished me, mentally, emotionally, and she got involved with criminal defense attorneys. So I think that there's something to be said about that man, that something she knew about him that I was not supposed to find out, because the man also gave me a photograph. At the time, he gave me a little black and white photograph. It's like one of those photos that you get at like a photo booth type photograph, you know? And he said, don't ever lose this because you're probably going to need it one day. And so I hung on to that photo literally for, 16, 17 years. I kept it. And then after I moved here to San Antonio, and I live on a street that's right next to a street called North Walters. Mind you, I had never been to this neighborhood before coming here. The mother, she said, this is the address, go there. This is the house you're going to live in. It's like it was all set up. So I was and ironically enough, it's right next to a street called North Walters. It's an old house. I feel like the house is cursed. And I've felt that ever since from the first night that I spent the night here. It's very bizarre, and I don't know what the history is. I've tried to get information about what happened in this house.
Okay, let's talk about
seems to want to tell me.
Tell me something about this. First of all, how can people reach you? Let's say there are other people like that. They may be sympathetic with your situation. Maybe they can relate. Maybe they want to get out there too. Maybe they want to say, let's be friends. I know you're on Facebook. That's the way we connect. Yeah. So maybe I had a Facebook. One of my Facebook accounts was hacked into, so now I have another one, but the other one, I can't even access it to delete it. But I had all of a sudden, in one day, I had like 3,000 plus friend requests, which was really weird. And then the whole account was hacked into, and I have not been able to delete that account or anything. So let's give it.
A lot of my friends, who I so-called friends, I've had to. They're not real, they have not been very kind to me about this situation. They don't seem to believe me. I have no credibility. The people say, go get, people just think I'm crazy. Okay. There's a guardianship pending in San Antonio that the adoptive mother has against me, declaring me incapacitated.
Wow.
So I know there's something, so there's like a guardianship. Right now, I'm basically a ward of the system. I have no income. I've been living off a credit card. I get followed and stalked. I get harassed, exploited, made fun of if I go out. I mean, it's been a very, very, very traumatizing experience for me. It's been awful. My health has deteriorated. My sanity, I can't trust anybody. I seldom can go out in public without having panic attacks. It's been awful, and I feel as if I've been exploited and set up.
Well, at least
because probably it has to do with money. I'm not sure, but I suspect.
Lindsay, I don't know. Unfortunately, I wish I could do more. All I know that if you really are right now guardian, under the control of the state, are you allowed to leave? That's my question. Can you even get out?
What do you mean, of the state of Texas?
Yeah, sometimes, when you get to decide.
Well, you know what? I've tried to get in contact with those people, and they seem to just kind of dance around they don't want to be direct with me.
Yeah.
They don't seem to think that I have the capacity to think for myself or whatever. So I've pretty much just given up. It's like, you know what? If I want to leave, I will get the hell out of here and do as I please. The only problem is I don't have money to do what I would like to do. I don't want to stay in this situation. It's humiliating. It's degrading, insulting.
So let me ask you.
Incapacitated.
Let me ask you, because this is important. For normally, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah.
Normally, when they try to put you under let's say, these mental wards, okay? They
tried that already. They did do that to me already.
Yeah. So normally, you must have a legal document that says, okay, you are right now no more a person in control of your own actions, and you're gonna be under our control. Normally, they put you in these homes that they, feed you and do stuff like that. You pretty much become a zombie, okay? Like in prison, that's
right. That's what they want. That's their goal. That's the agenda, is to get me so medicated and whatnot so that I have no control over anything. And I refuse. I'm sorry, but I don't do Western medicine. I don't believe in psychiatric drugs.
Yeah.
I refuse to take them, and I don't take Western medication I just don't believe in it from my own experience of what's happened to me physically and otherwise. I just will not. And these people seem to all they want to do is control a person to get them on medication so that you can't analyze or critically think. That's what that stuff does to you. I've been on medications in the past, and it does nothing but make me stupid. It makes me vulnerable.
Yes.
It makes me not be able to think, and I refuse. I absolutely will not do that, no matter how hard they try to do that to me.
Let's put this message in the bottle out, okay? Like you are pretty much surrounded on this island, and all sharks around, and you want to get this little bottle with a message inside to anybody around the world. It doesn't mean to be in the USA. It could be anywhere. Maybe just to have a real friend. Somebody could say, maybe I can sympathize with you. Maybe we can just at least be friends and talk and help each other. And that would be nice, of course. Maybe, hey, lady, I have an extra room. Why don't you try to get out of there? Or maybe, I don't know, maybe you find a man who likes you and can be, everything's possible.
I'm so independent and stubborn that I'm very much, I can't really.
Okay,
I'm real picky when it comes to that.
I understand.
After a bad divorce,
I understand.
A bad relationship.
All I'm saying, I want you trying to reach for people to help you, and I'm trying to give you the microphone now, and I give you 2 minutes. Everywhere people can contact you. It's up to you. If you have an email, if you want to give the phone number, if you want to give her Facebook, whatever works for you. I want to give you these 2 minutes. You let them know exactly how people can reach you out, and that is up to you and them. You got the floor. Go ahead.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that. You can find me at Lynn Hill, LINHILL 1975 at gmail.com. That's Lynn Hill 1975 at gmail.com. I have a Facebook, and it's under Lindsay, LINDSAY Hill, HILL Baldwin, BALDWIN. That's Lindsay Hill Baldwin. So you can find me that way. And my phone number, which is 832-801-8894. So, that's my contact information. I'm not going to give my physical address because I really don't feel too comfortable doing that.
Okay, Lisa, very good. I'm glad at least we had a chance, as I said, to communicate.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
All I can pray, listeners out there, this is like a human being, a person that wants to reach out. It's up to you. We are our humanity. Maybe you have something similar. I always say one of the things that many of these target individuals, I think, they should do, at least find each other, compare their situations, and maybe they realize that they are not alone, that they have really, let's say, there is a tracking record. There are some sort of historical facts that normally happens out of the blue. This is weird.
Are you okay?
I'm okay. Out of the blue. Strange. Very strange. Anyway, no problem. So, listen, Lindsay, I want to be in touch with you. Let me go grab a Zanna coffee here before I die. And you let me know, please, okay? Let me know if anybody contact you. And also, we have Facebook friends. We are in touch, okay?
Okay, well, thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Do not go away. Stay there. 1 second. Okay, guys, you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. Before I die, I got to drink Zanna coffee. And please, I appreciate your support. You know, this show is an act of love. And I really don't go out looking for sponsors and begging for them. Because, you know, the topics that I touch here, probably many of my sponsors, they would say, you crazy. We don't want to talk about target individuals. We're not going to talk about chemtrails or 9/11. And they completely tell you what to do. I am here free. And I tell you whatever exactly my heart tells me to say. So, but I need your support. So if you want to support me, go please to www.zannacoffee.com, Z-A-N-N-A coffee.com. If you drink coffee during the day, you can drink my organic coffee. It's delicious. And also drinking the coffee, Zanna coffee, you support the show. Do not go away. We come back now with more news, more information. And this is Luca Zanna, and you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Hey, you. Yes, I'm talking to you. You deserve a break. Enjoy a moment of indulgence. It's time for Zanna Coffee. Guilt-free pleasure. Zanna Coffee is the organic coffee to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Only the best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world that I selected. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade certified, sustainable organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Get your coffee bag now. Don't be cheap. Life is too short, and you deserve the best. Zanna Coffee.
Here we are back into the studio. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on KTOX 1340 AM. This is the hour about love. Before I go into more, let's say, lighter things, like, you know, sharing some of my new poems and tell you more details about the coming book, I want to talk about serious stuff. Not because my book is not serious, but this is really serious stuff. I am very saddened when I see out there people who profess themselves pro-life, who profess themselves Christians, who profess themselves constitutionalists, but that's another story. I'm talking about now the love part, where they cheer like a bunch of ancient Romans in the arena looking for blood. When we drop bombs, when we go out there, and the result is death. Seriously, guys, if you really are a Christian, and I'm not here to preach, I don't care what you are, I don't care what you believe, but you're out there, and many of you, you know, always had to be some sort of on the high stand, you know, mentioning the Bible and keeping, you know, the Lord, the name, and all this stuff. And that's great. You know, I'm Christian too, but I tell you, I don't go out there and tell you what to do. I look at this as an hypocrisy. You're pro-life, at the same time, you don't understand the consequences when you start to drop bombs around the world. These bombs, they fall down. This is not a video game. And regardless, we go into the constitutionality of this situation, as I said before. If really you believe in the Constitution, you know, Congress should at least have that type of extreme measure power. Only Congress should declare war, not one man or one woman. But before even we go there, how can you cheer up? I have a lot of people that I consider, I don't say friends because friends is a big word, but people I've been knowing for years. And they're all cheering up. Say, yes, we got ISIS in Afghanistan. First of all, idiots, if you want to take ISIS, just go to the CIA in Virginia and knock at the door and say, can you drop it off? That's who is behind ISIS. It's been proven. The Obama administration is being behind financing it, like the Bush administration was behind Al-Qaeda. That's a fact. It's been mainstream media. So don't start to believe and start to get all cheered up with this bomb them all, you know, nuke them all. I mean, come on, guys, this is about, if you really, My God, I can't believe it. This is coming from some of you that normally they are also ladies, women that they go to church. You understand the devastation and the consequences there. Because this is not just about dropping a bomb in a cave. By the way, when you drop like the latest bomb from, President Trump, the mother of all bombs, my gosh, guys, that's like 1 square mile of devastation. You know how many innocents they may be caught in that situation? Seriously, how can you go back to sleep at night thinking it's all okay? You know, the sad thing now, the last 30, 40 years, we've been somehow engaging in many situations, with some exceptions, of course, mostly with technology. And it become almost detached. It is no more a human war. I mean, World War II, most of the times, beside the bombings, but most of the conflicts, they were fought hand to hand. Talking about, you really have to see the enemy's eyes. I mean, look in Korea, even of course wasn't a war, but look at most of these, let's say 50s and 40s, they were all really something that you had to smell it. Even in Vietnam. Now, most of these are just video games, drones, bombs, cruises. I mean, tomahawks, whatever you want to call them. The point is, it's sad, because we are losing our humanity. This is not a video game. And I really invite you, first of all, if you really believe in this country, if you believe in the Republic, let's look back at the roots, our founding fathers. I don't think George Washington would be a happy man right now with President Trump, at all. And if you say, why, Luca, why are you saying that? All you have to do is read the last letter, faraway letter of President Washington. I mean, come on, guys. If an immigrant like myself can find out this information, I'm sure you can know better. So that's my point. President Washington told us, do not get entangled in these allegiances. Trade with everybody. But, do not sell out to anybody. We're never supposed to be Israel, Can I say bitch? Yes, bitch. Or going out and, become some sort of a policeman of the world. Or out there start to say, we gotta be the policeman and we gotta, help everybody. No. The first thing and the only people we should help is the American people. All these international funds, all this international force, coerce, extortion of our tax dollar going to Israel, going to Egypt, going to wherever you want to go, 128 countries, it's all illegal. And that's what I really am sad. Especially with the right wings, whatever they want to call themselves. They want to call themselves Republicans, conservatives. You know what? You pick and choose where socialism, where you do not like socialism. You're all okay when, I am with you. I don't want programs. I don't want socialism in this country. I want to be left alone. Fine. But when it comes down to international aids to Israel, it's never enough. And I have nothing against Israel. I couldn't care less. Like I have nothing against Palestine. It's their problem. They've been fighting for what? 3,000 years? I'm sorry. Nothing I can do. I wish them well to all of them. Let them sort it out, but without our tax dollar. That's all I'm saying. So it's very sad to see all this completely illogical, irrational, let's say also full of hate. When I see people cheering up over it, dropping a bomb, and the first justification is, hey, yes, now we can show that our president got some backbone. What are you talking about? Seriously, this man, this president, before the election said that we're not going to continue the policies of Obama. And by the way, shame on you Democrats too, because you never really screamed enough. I never heard you really screaming when Obama has been dropping all these drones and bombs, more than Bush. This is not according to me. This is according to official records. So that's the sad thing. We all follow now, not we, but in general, both parties, no matter, all they want to do is follow their man or their woman. And they're never going to do wrong. But I said, you guys, profess yourself Christian, profess yourself pro-life, please, find back your humanity. Killing without even knowing what we're doing. Because the idea is we go there, we drop bombs and missiles. The reality is we are here in this country. We should defend our borders. That's the bottom line. We should defend our rights. to provoke World War III doesn't take much. Look this weekend what's happening. We have Korea completely in a state of alarm. By the way, I can stand the bust of Korea, but guess what? It's been a prop. It's being somehow financed by our tax dollar too. You know how many billions of dollars it takes from the United Nations for humanitarian aids? All you have to do is just pull the plug. Don't give him the money. If he believes that his communist regime works so well, he doesn't need our money. No, we are paying for the money to feed their people. Meanwhile, we move into war. So the reality is it's all a game. These people, these tyrants, these regimes, they're being created, supported by the globalists. It's like a chess game. So now we have Korea, of course, that is pretty much ready. It's ready crazy. Now we are ready. We don't know what's going to happen this week. Russia, of course, and China, we already know. I mean, only God knows now if somebody by accident blows up a Russian tank or anything, or even just a soldier. They must do a retaliation. I wonder if there was not even a soldier, a Russian soldier in the Syrian base that President Trump bombed. Right there would have been enough to create some sort of retaliation. So we are really at this situation. All I say, shame on you to cheering up for war. And I'm not a hippie. I'm not here, waving the sign peace, like, the peace sign, like a hippie. I believe we have the right to defend ourselves. I'm into guns. The point at the same time I say, one thing to defend yourself, one thing is to be a warmonger, one thing is go out there and be the puppet for the military-industrial complex. That's my point. That's the sad thing. And the consequences now could be completely to a new level. I mean, we already been depleted. 15 years in the Middle East and our army, our armed force, it's completely depleted, tired. Our tax dollar is being burned on the military-industrial complex. Don't you get it? This is not about supporting the troop. This is about supporting the military-industrial complex. People like McCain were at the face. People like, the Senator Graham. People like the Schumer. These people, they work for these corporations. And if you don't believe me, you probably should believe somebody that was a real insider talking about, my gosh, he wasn't an hippie for sure. President Eisenhower. Okay? What do you want to say more about that? His last speech, farewell speech. Okay? I mean, that's my point. My point is simple. You don't want to believe me, believe him. So anyway, this is sad because I see repeating the same mistakes, that there are no more mistakes, but they are becoming now completely madness. That's all I'm saying. So let me play this little segment just to remind you what exactly this man said about the military-industrial complex. And that was, let's say, a long time ago. Things got much worse. The problem that we never learn from our mistakes. That's the problem. Stay here. Let me play this one.
My fellow Americans, this evening I come to you with a message of leave-taking and farewell, and to share a few final thoughts with you, my countrymen. We have been compelled to create a permanent armaments industry of vast proportions. 3.5 million men and women are directly engaged in the defense establishment. The total influence, economic, political, even spiritual, is felt in every city, every state house, every office of the federal government. We recognize the imperative need for this development, yet we must not fail to comprehend its grave implications. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist.
You have to realize this is one of the great presidents, great military leaders. On his way out the door, at the end of his second term, he says, by the way, watch out for the military-industrial complex.
People know that he invented the phrase military-industrial complex, but very rarely do you see the whole thing and realize how utterly strident his warning was. I think it's one of the most profound statements ever made by an American president.
Just like George Washington gave his warnings about foreign entanglements and things like that, my dad was giving his warning against letting this military-industrial complex get out of hand.
We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes.
And you know, guys, that was not a hippie. That was not like an anti-war. That was not even some sort of like liberal. The guy was a general, top general. I mean, a hardcore general. To tell us that, and if you still, you guys, in the Republican side, what you call yourself conservatives, just because, you know, you drop bombs, now you're conservative. Listen to the words of this man. Don't listen to me. That was a long time ago. Things got much worse. And don't believe anything comes out of that box, because you didn't believe it when it was against Trump. Now the blue CNN becomes like the Bible, just because they tell you that, hey, in Syria, you know, these children, they were killed by Assad. You really believe that stuff? I mean, don't you start to think that maybe if McCain and Graham and Schumer all get along now with this plan of dropping bombs in Syria, maybe we should be aware. Anytime McCain or anybody or any one of these bastards out there, they agree, maybe we should disagree, or at least you should be really concerned. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to drop it here. This is the hour about love. I don't want to get too excited and get mad, but please, we're talking about lives. Innocent lives on the other side, the lives of our own soldiers, and also could be tomorrow our lives here on our own soil. Yes, I said that, on our own soil. You remember, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. You go there, you drop bombs. Tomorrow, they may come here and drop bombs. And may go further. Don't forget, China has 20 million soldiers. Russia is part of this alliance. Korea would love to come here too. We're talking about enough manpower that could take over this country and colonize it. Especially, you know, when you go to war and you lose the war, that's what happens. Look at Germany. Look in Japan. There's still bases there. You lose the war, you lose your freedom forever. So that's why I'm so concerned. It's only a question of time. History repeats itself. There is always a new empire. The last thing I want to do is living in America where we've been taken over by the Russians or by the Chinese, because we were brought into a war that we could not win by design and by idiocracy of you guys that you still believe that you are some sort of a Rambo behind the computer screen at night while you're eating Doritos. Shame on you. That's all I'm saying. All right, let me chill out. Now we had a little break, and when I share with you the last few poems from my coming book, Perfectly Crazy. Yes, stay here. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman,
I'm not afraid,
and a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid,
Italian by birth,
I'm not afraid,
American by choice. Gianluca Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Back into the studio, you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom, final part about love. Before I go into my book, I wanted to remind you about Facebook. It's becoming like a more and more a very important part, or at least, let's say, not even important, a big part of our life. You can use Facebook for many things. You know, honestly, I found a lot of great friends. I've been able to network, to share my products. I can see the good side of Facebook. The bad side is, first of all, Yes, it's like a system of control, self-admission. Pretty much you tell to the enforcer and to the government whatever normally they would have tried to get from you, and you could not give it to them. So it's like a self-voluntary, let's say, control system. The same time also can be very sad, like right now. They pretty much can hook you up, get you into the system. You have all your friends. Then, now with the police, top police, every time you say something that is not anymore politically correct, even in America, that we're supposed to have freedom of speech, they can shut you down. And you cannot even face the accusers. That's the sad thing. So it's very sad, because I almost put you in a situation then you're going to start to behave. It's almost like the Pavlov, experiment with the dogs. Don't say any more of those things, otherwise you will be punished. You won't be allowed to be on Facebook to find your friends. So they hook you up first, and then they cut you off. And then they bring you back, so you become a more docile dogs. But besides that, I see at Facebook also had the opportunity to meet friends, and some of these friends, they can become also deeper relationship. So it is really a real life relationship, or it is just some sort of an illusion. So just be careful about that. But regardless, the beautiful thing about Facebook, though, you have the magic button that's called delete, and more important, unfriend, and more important, block. So we don't need to stay close to each other. If you don't like somebody, I hate the idea that I have somebody on my page that does not like my post, and I don't like their reactions, and we need to, waste our time, debating and try to convince each other. I don't want to convince anybody. If you don't like what I say, just unfriend me. Simple as that. But, you don't need to come on my face, bash for what I say, and then some of you maybe also go to report my posts because you find them offensive. That's disgusting. That's what I'm saying. So please, grow up a little bit, okay? And let's have drama-free. Let's remove the drama. Life is already enough dramatic. We cannot have drama over Facebook friendship. As I said, we don't need to like each other. We can respect each other. The best way to respect each other is avoiding each other. Simple as that. All right, let me move back to the book. Perfectly Crazy. It took me probably about 4 months before Christmas. I had this idea. I wanted to compile all my poems that I started writing since I was pretty much a young man in Italy. And I found them, I cleaned them up, some, of course, new work, some other things I had in the back of my mind for years. And I have now 69 poems, erotic poems and love visions. They are there in this book. And this book, of course, it is not for the faint of the heart. This book is not for people that maybe say, morality, I may not like these words, or even the ideas that you give me about love and things. You don't have to read it. So that's quite, explicit content. And there is a PG rated, whatever, 21, 18, I don't know. Anyway, it's not for minors. And what can I say? This is who I am. Or even what I was. Doesn't mean that everything you read in this book, it's happening to me right now. This could be things I've done in the past. And I'm not even shy or ashamed. This is who I was and also who I am. So the point is, why even I'm doing it? Because I like to do this. I like to write poems. I like to write erotic poems. And I think I like to share them. And I had some great reviews already from people that somehow they find, some interest. And that's all it is about. If I can share something that can, let's say, make somebody feel better, I already done my purpose. But more important, I feel better. Because this is one day, it's going to be my legacy. People will say, oh my God, you're a perv. I'm not perv. I'm just who I am. I'm a passionate person. And if you read the book, you'll find out more about me. Now, beside the poems, I have a section that I do with, at the end, like a little bit of a phrases. And as I said, I'm not trying to be here like a philosopher. But, I write my little short phrases of thoughts. Pointless. A broken heart is like a broken pencil. Pointless. Silence. Silence talks louder than words, especially when it comes from the woman's heart. Is that true? Sometimes, you can talk and talk and talk, but somebody's silent. And especially for a woman, I think that's more important than many speeches. Water and life. The river of life, like water, always runs. From this reality, we cannot hide. All we have left is to live and love. At least we can try. Well, the last one I give you. Coincidence. There is not such thing as a coincidence. Everything happens for a reason, especially in love. Yes, sometimes do not force things. Things happen for a reason. And there are other opportunities out there. So anyway, to finish up, thank you very much for listening. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for putting up with me. And more important, I thank you again for sharing the message, using your brain, and for your support. If you want to support me, you know how to do it. Go to www.zanna.us, download any of my songs, and of course, go to zannacoffee.com. I appreciate your support. Even if you don't agree with me, I invite you on my show. I want you on my show. Seriously. I hope, by the way, some of the people that normally we do not interact anymore on Facebook, and this is the place where we can interact. On Facebook, I do not want to have interaction with people that we don't agree. But on the show, this is the forum. I invite you. Go to lovegunsfreedom.com, and you're more than welcome to be on the air here with me. Thank you very much. God's willing, I'll talk to you next Sunday. And happy Easter if you believe in Easter. Ciao, ciao.